WCBS News Time, 6 minutes past 8 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Harvey Hauptman. Our coverage of the World Series coming up in just 1 minute here on News 88. 56 degrees the temperature in New York City, 59% humidity, wind coming from the south at 11 miles an hour, barometer rising 29.87 inches, and skies are cloudy. Bob Harris, the WCBS meteorologist, says it's going to be cloudy, breezy, and cool overnight, with a chance of showers developing after midnight. Overnight low temperatures 43 to 48 degrees. Tomorrow, overcast, damp, and cool with occasional rain, a high in the mid-50s. For Thursday, clearing, breezy, and cool, the high 55 to 60 degrees. Friday, increasing cloudiness with a shower or rain late in the day, high temperatures in the upper 50s. Looking all the way ahead to Saturday, morning cloudiness, windy and cool with clearing in the afternoon, and a high of 54 to 59 degrees. Cloudy skies now, a rising barometer 29.87, south winds at 11 miles an hour, 59% humidity, and a temperature of 56 degrees. WCBS News Time, 7 past 8.
In the Bronx, New York, CBS Radio Sports presents game number 6 of the 1977 World Series on the CBS Radio Network and around the world through American Forces Radio. Hello, everybody. This is Ralph Kiner along with Win Elliot and Ross Porter getting set for the 6th game of the 1977 World Series between the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers. This broadcast is sponsored by Menley and James Contact, 12-hour cold capsule, by American Motors, makers of Concord DL, by Bear Aspirin, America's #1 selling aspirin, and by New Mellow Roast Coffee and Grain Beverage, delicious coffee taste without bitterness.
This is your World Series station in New York, WCBS News Radio 88. And immediately following our broadcast of the game, we'll bring you up to date on all the latest news, weather, and sports, including details on all the racing at Yonkers and the Meadowlands.
Well, the stage is set for the 6th game of this World Series in the best of 4 out of 7. Only 3 teams have won the World Series after being down 3-1 in games, and the Dodgers were just that, down 3-1 to the Yankees. They won in Los Angeles, and now they are 1 down to the Yankees as this 6th game is coming up. Teams that have scored first in this series have won 4 of the 5 games, and they have won the last 4 straight. And the Dodgers, if you're interested in numbers, have never lost a World Series in an odd-numbered year. They won in 1959, 1963, and 1965. And here tonight, it's going to be Bert Hooton on the mound for the Dodgers, hoping to keep their hopes alive. Hooton pitched 9 innings in a winning ball game earlier in the series, and he allowed only 1 run on 5 hits while striking out 8 and walking 1. Hooton in the regular season had a record of 12 wins and 7 losses. And going for the Yankees, Mike Torres. Mike with a record of 17-13 in the regular season, and he also pitched a complete game, a winning effort for the Yankees. More of our pregame activities after this message.
Hey, sports fans, did you know that now there's a great new way to enjoy the series at home? Sure, I'm talking about new Mellow Roast coffee and grain beverage. Mellow Roast starts with 3 kinds of rich, robust coffees, then blends in roasted grain to take away the bitter edge. So you enjoy full-flavored coffee taste without the bitterness, and that should make any sports fan a Mellow Roast fan, too. Pick up some Mellow Roast at your supermarket today. It's new from General Foods.
Well, the New York Yankees had a press conference earlier this afternoon. In a statement by Gabe Paul, president of the New York Yankees, he said, "We are pleased to announce that Billy Martin will continue as Yankee manager and has been rewarded with a substantial bonus in recognition of the fine job he has done. We hope this will put to rest the unfounded rumors that a change was about to be made." Billy's contract runs through the 1979 season. Billy Martin said, "I am very pleased and happy after talking with Gabe Paul about this year, next year, and 79. The Yankees were extremely good to me, and everything is going to be great. I want to thank George Steinbrenner, the top partner in the Yankees, Gabe, and the New York Yankees for this kind reward and expression of confidence. And, of course, my warm thanks to our players whose great performances have made this all possible." Well, that's the way it sets up. That should get Billy Martin a little bit easier as far as he is concerned. I don't think it has much to do with the players, but Billy Martin has been given a bonus and a vote of confidence. We talked with Lou Piniella of the New York Yankees. He's having quite a season, about his observations on Bert Hooton and this game.
Well, Ralph, I think that Bert Hooton surprised us a little bit the first time with his good fastball. We didn't think he threw that hard from our scouting reports, but he pitched an excellent game against us. I think most of our hitters were more preoccupied with his knuckle curve than they were with the fastballs, and I think that this time around you'll see the hitters looking more for the fastball. If he makes a good pitch with the curveball, you're not going to hit it anyway, so I'll look for it. If he hangs it, well, you should be able to hit it off the fastball.
Lou, did you find anything special about the knuckle curve? Did it break in a pattern or just break down and out or down and in?
Well, early part of the ball game, the knuckle curve was quick and it was breaking down and away, and towards the middle part and latter part of the game, it slowed down somewhat and was hanging a little more.
We've been talking with Lou Piniella. Lou, of course, having an outstanding series. Thank you very much, Lou.
Thank you, Ralph.
Well, the crowd is filing in, and it looks as though we'll have another standing room only crowd on this very nice evening for baseball. It's a little bit chilly. The temperature will be down in the high 40s, and also there's a little bit of a breeze blowing, but not too bad as we get set for the ball game. The Yankees are going with their same lineup, with the exception of the pitcher that they used in the opening game of this World Series. And the Dodgers have made just one change from their opening lineup. They are playing Rick Mundy in center field in place of a rookie, Glenn Burke, who started in the first game of this series. The national anthem will be sung by Robert Merrill, and Joe DiMaggio will be the man who will throw out the first ball. Don Sutton pitched the Dodgers back to even in the LCS, the League Championship Series, and back to New York with his 10-4 win over the Yankees in L.A. in the fifth game. Here's what he thought of Bert Hooton's chances tonight.
Well, I don't think that it bothered me that much on Sunday. I think that I have the approach to the ball game that to those kind of games that it's more fun to play when there's something on the line. And having watched Bert Hooton for the last couple of years, I think that he is a better pitcher when there's something on the line, too. So I think we're in good hands tonight.
That's good news for Dodger fans. And, of course, you are playing in this ballpark. Hooton, with that knuckle curve, throws a lot of ground balls, as Casey Stengel would say, so the ballpark shouldn't make a whole lot of difference to him.
No, I don't think so, and I think he's a type pitcher that if he gets behind with the curveball and they don't swing at it, he can pitch up and away with enough velocity to use that straightaway center field in those alleys where you really have to hit a tee shot to get it out of here.
Talked with Lou Piniella, and he said that he was surprised by the velocity of the fastball that Bert Hooton threw, and that he felt that the Yankees would be sitting on the fastball more and not worrying about the knuckle curve.
Well, who knows if that's a con job that he's trying to get us to believe that he's going to do it, or if it's the truth. I think Bert Hooton gets underestimated by a lot of people. He has three good pitches. He has a changeup that not too many people are really aware of who don't see him every day, and he knows how to pitch. So, like I say, I think we're in good hands.
Talking with Don Sutton. Don, thank you very much.
Okay, Ralph.
We'll continue in just a moment.
Nowadays, you can't listen to radio, watch television, or read a newspaper without some auto manufacturer telling you what great gas mileage his car gets. They quote the EPA. They tell you how many miles per gallon they get in the city and how many they get on the highway. Well, all these facts are great to know. But if there's anything you need as much as cars that make your gasoline go a little further, it's a gasoline that makes your dollar go a little further. At the Getty Oil Company, we have a gasoline that's perfect for newer cars. Getty Unleaded Regular, with the octane performance of regular and the clean running smoothness of unleaded. But most important, we sell Getty Unleaded Regular for less than most other major unleadeds. So now you can choose a car and a gasoline that give you more miles for your money. Getty Premium and Getty Unleaded Regular. We've got what's best for your car.
Well, the New York Yankees are being introduced right now, and of course they get the thunderous applause from these partisan Yankee fans. The Dodgers have just been introduced, and the Yankees are getting set to go here at home at Yankee Stadium in the sixth game of this seven-game series. If it goes one more, we'll have seven. We'll return to the 1977 World Series in 1 minute on the CBS Radio Network. This is Ralph Kiner, CBS Radio Sports.
WCBS, New York.
Someday you'll own, someday you'll own Sooner or later, you'll own Generals.
Don't buy tires until you visit your General Tire headquarters. You'll find a tire that's right for you and a price that's set for today's budgets. Choose from steel-belted radials, glass-belted, polyester cord, and economical 4-ply nylon cord tires. Or go with a sporty look of wide letter whites. They all incorporate General's 62 years of tire building know-how. Quality, choice, price. General has the tire for you. Check your yellow pages for the General Tire headquarters nearest you.
Sooner or later, you'll own Generals. Sooner or later, you'll own Generals.
Ladies and gentlemen, our color guard tonight.
Hello again from Yankee Stadium, where CBS Radio Sports is pleased to present the 6th game of the 1977 World Series between the New York Yankees and Los Angeles Dodgers. With Ross Porter and I'm Win Elliot. And things are just about ready to get underway as Bob Merrill sings the national anthem.
Please join in the singing of our national anthem, which will be led by Robert Merrill.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. The ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Say thus that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the
We'll be right back to Yankee Stadium after this word.
If you're like most car owners, getting an oil change is a pain in the neck. Here's how to relieve that pain.
Mobil 1, the oil that does it all. Mobil 1.
With Mobil 1, you don't have to change oil every 3,000 miles or even every 7,500 miles. You can drive Mobil 1 for an incredible 15,000 miles or 1 year, whichever comes first, before changing oil. If your car is new, use Mobil 1 and just follow warranty rules. Mobil 1 offers relief in other ways. It saves you gas, reduces engine wear, and you don't have to change oil when the seasons change. As for that other big pain, cold weather starting, Mobil 1 helps start a well-tuned engine clear down to 35 degrees below zero. Why settle for partial relief when there's
Mobil 1, the oil that does it all.
Game 6, Yankee Stadium. Win Elliot with Ross Porter. We're just about to get underway, and so the last of the necessities. The umpires at home plate: John McSherry, first base, Nestor Shylock, second base, Ed Sudol, Larry McCoy's at third base, left field, it's Jerry Dale's area, and Jim Evans is patrolling right field. And we're awaiting the toss of the first pitch, the ceremonial that'll get this game underway, Game 6. I suspect you know that the Yankees have the lead in games 3-2.
Your attention,
and I tell you that in all World Series history, a team trailing by one game at this point in the series, 1 out of 4. So the odds are 4-1 against the Dodgers, if you want to put it that way. And I see him now in the Yankee dugout, the greatest living ball player, Joe DiMaggio. Comes out, waves his hand. You hear it. He's coming out. He's actually going to the mound. That's the first time I've ever seen that. Joe D is actually going to the pitcher's mound to deliver the first pitch, and there's a little embarrassed grin on his face. Bends down, not quite to the rosin bag. Here it comes. Crowd loves it. You know, Joe, for all the things he's done in the world of baseball, always has that shy, little embarrassed grin on his face. He's never quite relaxed in front of the public as he was in the batter's box or loping around in center field. It's a very attractive little grin, and there it was, and he had a ball. Insofar as Joe D can express the fact that he's having a ball, awfully nice guy, very contained, however, contained to the point when he thought he had it in baseball, that he couldn't perform as the greatest in center field. He packed it in. He didn't wait for anybody to tell him or anybody to offer him any less or offer him any more. He said, I've had it. As long as I can't perform the way the public has come to accept my performance, I'm through. So that was Joe D, through in the field, but obviously never through, at least in Yankee Stadium here, and I suspect all over the world of baseball. And the Yankees take the field. It'll be Mike Torres, who is one of the 4 pitchers to go all the way in this series. That's the first time that's ever happened, or ever happened since 1971, that is. Torres and Guidry for the Yankees, Houghton and Sutton for the Dodgers. And so it'll be 2 guys who went all the way, Houghton and Torres. I might tell you that Torres, with 3 days rest, prefers it that way. In his winning streak of 7 games earlier in August, that's the way he did it. As for Sutton, he's plenty rested. Whether it's a nickel curve, a knuckle curve, or whatever, he's had 5 days to rest. So this is the game the Dodgers must win. You must be tired of hearing that. And this is the game that the Yankees feel, I think secretly, that they got to knock out those guys from the West Coast today, or it may be too late. It's what I said out in California. When you've thrown your best punch, he wobbles, the knees shake, but he doesn't go down. You know it's going to be a long night. Well, this may be the longest of all series, the 7th game type. Torres is out there warming up. About the 7th game, in 1963, the last time these 2 guys met, that is the Dodgers and the Yankees, it was the shortest possible of all series. Los Angeles won it 4-0. Koufax bested, or Koufax bested Ford in the 4th game, and that was the famous game when Junior Gilliam hit the ball to third base. Boyer threw it to Pepitone. Pepitone lost it in the sun. Gilliam went to third, and on the next play, sacrifice fly, he came in, and that was the winning margin, 2-1. The Yanks, of course, have a large margin in play against the Dodgers, both from Brooklyn and Los Angeles. The Brooklyn style, they beat the Dodgers 7-1. However, the Los Angeles group holds the edge in World Series play against the Yanks, as I've just explained. So this is the 10th. The Yankees lead it at the moment 3-2, and everybody's tense with excitement here. The only thing that's changed here in New York, it's nighttime, it's on the cool side, and the cheers you will hear coming from the Yankee fans. And by my side, ready to get underway with play-by-play, Ross Porter.
Thank you very much, Win Elliot. Good evening, everyone, from Yankee Stadium, New York, where over 56,000 have crowded in on a cool autumn night. The temperature might be in the high 40s by the time this game is over. The wind blowing out toward left center field as Mike Torres, the winner of Game 3, looks down to Thurman Munson, and Dodger second baseman Davey Lopes stands in, and the 6th game is about to begin. Torres to the windup, and the right-hander's first pitch is high for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Torres got Lopes all 4 times he faced him in Los Angeles last Friday night. Davey 3 for 20 in the series. He swings and misses a good fastball from Torres, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Torres lost Game 3 of the American League Championship Series in Kansas City, 6-2, but he pitched 5 1/3 innings of shutout relief in the deciding game of the playoffs. There's a ground ball by Lopes out to Bucky Dent at short, and he throws him out. So 1 away for the Dodgers. That'll bring on shortstop Bill Russell. Russell, like Lopes, was 0 for 4 against Torres the first time they faced in this World Series. Russell overall in the series is 4 for 23. Torres beat the Dodgers Friday night in Los Angeles 5-3. He allowed a 3-run homer to Dusty Baker, but he struck out 9. Breaking ball for a called strike to Russell. National League umpire John McSherry working behind the plate tonight. Torres is ready. The right-hander winds and delivers, and Russell grounds one out to the second baseman, Willie Randolph. A 2-hopper. He fields it and throws out the Dodgers shortstop. So 2 infield grounders off the bats of Lopes and Russell. 2 out, nobody on, and up comes Reggie Smith, the bat left-handed against Torres.
Ross, one of the indications as to how effective Torres might be tonight is the speed with which he pitches. Not the speed of his pitch, but how frequent his pitches come. So far, he's wasted no time, and that's a good sign for Torres.
Torres up to the windup now, and the pitch to Smith. A swing and a miss, a good high fastball. Reggie was 1 for 3 against Mike in Game 3. Torres retired the last 11 Dodgers to face him the other night. He's working with 3 days rest. No wind-up delivery. Smith grounds one to the left side. Dent backhands it, bobbles it, no play. Smith will be aboard. Bucky Dent, the shortstop, had to come back 2 strides to his right to get the high hopper. Batted it down, and we'll wait and see what the scoring will be. It'll be an error on Bucky Dent. So that's the 3rd error of the World Series on the Yankees. Remember, they didn't have any until the game in Los Angeles Sunday. And then there were errors committed by Greg Nettles and Lou Piniella. We've only had 4 errors in this series. So Smith is the first base runner of Game 6, and that'll give Ron Say a chance here in the first inning. Say 0 for 3 against Torres, 3 for 18 overall in the series. Say takes high and away for a ball. 2 out, a runner at first, no score, just the start of the ball game. Torres to the stretch, looks at Smith. The pitch to Say. Fouled off. No, the ball gets away from Munson, and down to second goes Reggie Smith. So there was no foul tip. The ball bounced off to the left of the plate. Munson went over to get it. But Smith trots into second base, and the Dodgers have a man in scoring position on Thurman Munson's pass ball. The count to Say, 1 ball and 1 strike. Say has appeared now in 10 World Series games, including 1974. He's hitting 171 in the series in those 2 years. The stretch by Torres, the 1-1 pitch. Slider misses outside, ball 2, 2 balls and 1 strike. Say during the series has only 3 hits, and he's hitting just 167. But Ron has been retired on outfield flies 9 different times. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Low, ball 3, 3-1. On deck, Steve Garvey. More runs have been scored in the first inning this year than in any other inning during the series. Dodgers have 5, the Yankees have 4. The pitch to Say. Low, ball 4, and the Dodgers have 2 on with 2 out.
And this, in general, has been a 2-out series. So much of the havoc has been raised by each club. Now, in this particular inning, Torres seemed to be going along very well. He threw 3 ground balls, but the 3rd one to Reggie Smith bounced on the lip of the grass, fooled Dent, and put him on. And now the base on balls with the pass ball in between, and the Dodgers are threatening.
Steve Garvey's had 7 hits in the series, the same as Thurman Munson of the Yankees. They've been the top men there. Garvey hitting .350 as he stands in. Torres' pitch is low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. So Torres, who should have been out of the inning, now has to work out of a scrape with Smith at second, safe on an error by Dent, and Say aboard on 5 pitches on a walk. The next one to Garvey. Low, ball 2, 2-0. Surprisingly, Win, in this World Series so far, almost half of the runs, 20 of the 42 we've seen, have been scored in the first 3 innings.
Well, it shows you what jitters will do.
Garvey waiting. Torres at the belt, but 2-0 pitch. Line drive, base hit down the right field line into the corner. That'll score Smith. Say halfway to third. As Jackson picks up the ball, Say is 10 feet from third, turning and coming home. The throw will be nowhere. 2-0 Dodgers as Say scores, and Garvey winds up at third base with a triple. So Garvey conked it right over the bag down the right field line, scoring Smith and Say 2 unearned runs, but the Dodgers lead it 2-0.
Steve Garvey, in analyzing the success of the Yankees early in the series, says they're smart hitters. They go with the pitch. They don't try to necessarily put it in the stands. If it's outside, they go with it. Munson did that. Jackson did that. So Steve came up and put his bat where his mouth had been.
Chambliss was playing him way off the line and had no chance. Here's Dusty Baker taking a fastball inside from Torres for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Baker collected 3 hits on Sunday, and as we pointed out, he hit a 3-run homer off Torres in Game 3. The next one to Dusty, outside ball 2, 2-0. So with 2 out in the first inning and Torres sailing along, he got a ground ball to the shortstop, but Dent bobbled it. Say walked, and Garvey chased home 2 runs with a triple into the right field corner. Baker takes low, ball 3, 3-0, and Thurman Munson walks out in front of the plate, hollers something to Mike Torres.
If you're going to lose the plate, the best place to lose it, however, is low. He didn't quite get it low enough nor far enough outside to Garvey, and that's why the Dodgers with the 2 unearned run.
Let's see if they turn Baker loose. He's taking it, and it cost him right in there, 3-1. Dodgers got 2 runs here in the first inning of Game 1, but the Yankees came back to win that one in 12, 4-3. The 3-1 pitch to Baker. Pop foul back, 3-2. Torres out of Topeka, Kansas, came to the Yankees in April from Oakland and won 14 ball games for New York. He lost 12. Torres won 7 straight, though, between the last of July and the last of August. Garvey down the line from third. Now timeout for the moment. Torres checking something with plate umpire John McSherry. Now back up on top, and Baker waiting. The windup in the 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Slider got the outside corner. Baker yells at McSherry, but Torres works himself back from a 3-0 deficit to get the Dodger left fielder. However, Los Angeles breaks on top with 2 runs, 1 hit. Garvey's 2-run triple, a big error by Bucky Dent. And at the end of a half an inning in Game 6, the Dodgers 2, and the Yankees coming up to face Bert Hooton for the first time.
When do you say Budweiser? Whenever the moment is right for a great beer. When do you say Budweiser? Whenever the good times are moving to right beer. When you're feeling easy after the work is done. That's just what to say. While you're still having fun. Anytime's the right time. The king of beers is waiting for your call. When do you say Budweiser? That's the beer for any time at all. That's the beer for any time at all. When you say Budweiser, you said it all.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
This broadcast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. If you've joined us late, the Dodgers scored twice in the top half of the first inning, 2 unearned runs. Torres got the first 2 batters docilely on ground balls. Reg Smith hit one to the shortstop, Bucky Dent. It took a fairly bad bounce. He foozled it nevertheless. Then Mike tried to be careful with Say, threw 4 low ones. Steve Garvey, who had been the leading hitter in terms of number of hits the Dodgers had, but only had 1 RBI to his credit, then pickled a low outside ball right down the right field line. He went to third. The 2 Dodgers in front of him scored, and that was it. Dick Tidrow started to get up in the Yankee bullpen, but that was obviated by the fact that John Dusty Baker struck out. And so it is 2-0 as Bert Hooton now comes to see if he can do it again. He met the Yankees here and shut them out and defeated them. He went the entire 9 innings. He had an easy time of it because the starter in that game, Catfish Hunter, was touched up for 5 runs in the first 3 innings, and the game was over quite early. However, Bert has been a consistent pitcher for the Dodgers all year round. He's had 5 days rest. Let's see what he does as Mickey Rivers comes to bat for the Yankees, Ross.
This marks the 3rd straight time at Yankee Stadium, all the games played in New York this year, that the Dodgers have scored 2 runs in the first inning. It wasn't enough in Game 1. It was enough in Game 2 when Hooten won 6-1 with a complete Game 5 hitter, a night in which he struck out 8. The first pitch to Rivers is a pop fly down the left field line. Baker coming fast, Russell going out. Baker near the foul line, reaches across the line and makes the catch. Good catch by Dusty Baker, lost the hat. And it took the left field umpire, Jerry Dale, to tell us about it since Baker went out of sight, but a good one-handed catch by Baker, barely in foul territory by about a stride.
I think he actually tumbled in over the low barrier there, the low stands, in his momentum, carried him over. Yes, he did win over. It was sort of a half gainer that he did into the stands, but he had it.
Here's Willie Randolph, the Yankee second baseman, taking the knuckle curve low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Hooten in Game 2 against the Yankees retired 14 of the last 15 New York batters to face him. Randolph takes low ball 2 balls and no strikes. The 79th World Series game ever played at Yankee Stadium since 1923, the year it opened. Game 6. Yankees leading 3-2. The Dodgers ahead tonight 2-0. Hooten swings to the windup, and the 2-0 pitch to Randolph is high. Ball 3, 3-0. Hooten has had a strikeout-walk ratio this year of 2.5 to 1. Here's the 3-0 pitch to Randolph on the way. Called strike. Outside corner at the letters, 3-1. 1 out, nobody on. Bottom of the first. The 3-1 pitch. Hot smash to the left of Russell. He flags it down. Turns and throws to Garvey in time. Good play by Russell on a hot shot by Randolph. 2 away on the New York first, just as the Dodgers had 2 out with nobody on in the top of the inning when they erupted for 2. Thurman Munson, who's had a good series with 7 base hits and 21 at-bats, strides up to the plate from the right side. Munson went 1 for 4 against Hooten the first time they faced last week. One of the reasons Hooten was so effective against the Yankees in Game 2 was the fact that he got Rivers 0 for 4 and Randolph 1 for 4. He kept the 2 leadoff men off the base paths. First one to Munson is low for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Bert Hooten has not lost a game in over 2 months. It's been 10 weeks. August the 11th, the last time he fell, Cincinnati beat him. The 1-0 pitch to Munson. Tapped out to the shortstop. Russell charges, glove, one-handed, throws to Garvey, pulled him off, but Garvey came back and tagged the bag. Munson is gone, and so are the Yankees in order. And at the end of 1 inning in Game 6, Dodgers 2, Yankees nothing.
When you're buying or leasing a new car or truck, Ford Credit wants to give you credit for being you.
Maybe you're wondering just who is Ford Credit. Well, our full name is Ford Motor Credit Company, and we're the sales financing subsidiary of Ford Motor Company. In other words, we're the people who want to give you credit on any Ford or Lincoln Mercury product. So have your dealer call us if you're buying or leasing a new Ford, Lincoln, or Mercury car, a Ford truck, tractor, or recreational vehicle. You see, we believe in the people who buy Ford products, and you can believe we'll do everything we can to put you on wheels fast.
When you're buying or leasing a new car or truck, Ford Credit wants to give you credit for being you.
And now a commercial from the makers of Bayer Aspirin.
In Washington, the Food and Drug Administration released important news about aspirin and aspirin substitutes. The news release reports that a panel of medical experts, in one of their findings, found no basis for the claim that aspirin substitutes are safer than aspirin.
That's right. Aspirin substitutes were not found safer than aspirin. When you want relief, get Bayer Aspirin. Bayer has relieved more pain than any medication in history. Use only as directed.
Going into the top of the second here at Yankee Stadium, game number 6. It's Dodgers 2-0 over the Yankees. Mike Torres against Bert Hooton. Both pitchers pitched well. Torres victimized by an error at short, a walk, and then a triple down the right field line by Steve Garvey. Both runs scoring unearned. Hooton had no problems with the top 3 in the Yankee batting order. A foul fly off Rivers, and then 2 ground balls. Now the Dodgers to bat for their half of the second inning, Ross.
Rick Monday, Steve Yeager, and Bert Hooton will face Mike Torres as we go to the second. Hooton only threw 8 pitches in the first inning to the Yankees. Monday, 0 for 4 against Torres in Game 3, is 1 for 7 in the series. Monday's had the last 2 games off. He hits a ground ball to Chambliss at first. Chris will carry it over to the bag, 1 away. Steve Yeager has been a pleasant addition to the Dodger attack here in the playoffs and also in the World Series. Yeager hit 16 home runs during the regular season. But here in the World Series, he has 5 runs batted in. He and Dusty Baker had the most of any two players in the series for either team. And Yeager drove in 4 of those 5 runs Sunday at Dodger Stadium in Game 5. The 3-run homer off Don Gullett, the big blow, giving the Dodgers a 5-0 lead in the 4th inning that day. Here's a hopper foul up along third. Preston Gomez fields it. He's coaching at third again for the Dodgers. Jim Gilliam, who celebrated his 49th birthday yesterday in the coaching lines at first for Los Angeles. 2-0 Dodgers as Steve Garvey went the other way in the first inning. Ripped one past the first base bag into the corner. Scores Smith and Say. Yeager takes low for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. There have been 39 World Series which reached the 6th game. And in 26 of the 39, 2/3 of them, the trailing team forced a deciding 7th game. There's a roller up along third. It goes foul in the last 10 feet before Nettles fields it. So Yeager will have to come back to count 1 and 2.
Yeager is no gazelle, yet he would have beaten that one out had it been fair. And I noticed that Greg Nettles, in regards to the temperature tonight, in between pitches, puts both his hands in his armpits to keep them warm. And, of course, the batters come out thoroughly garbed in those golf gloves. This is not Los Angeles weather. It, as Ross mentioned earlier, it probably will get down to about 40. No precipitation, but they'll be a little creaky out there.
Torres ahead on the count to Yeager. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The pitch. Got him swinging. Torres gets his second strikeout. He closed out Baker in the first inning. Now with 2 away, Bert Hooton will come up. Hooton was 0 for 3 as a batter in Game 2. Hooton, 27-year-old, former University of Texas All-America. Once pitched a no-hitter for the Chicago Cubs. And he said that was on a cold night against Philadelphia. Torres' pitch is looped to right field. Reggie Jackson coming up. He's there now, and one-hands it for the final out. So Torres didn't have to throw too many pitches himself in the second inning. He gets the Dodgers easily. At the end of an inning and a half, Dodgers 2, Yankees nothing.
Take your contact, take it now. Give your call to contact.
Can your cold medicine fight the congestion, shrink the swollen membranes, help relieve the runny, sneezy, cloggy misery caused by every known cold virus? Are you sure? Contact can. Today's Contact does all that up to 12 hours, all day, all night, no matter what cold virus attacks. That's the wonder of Contact.
Give your call to contact.
Take only as directed.
Looks like there's going to be some fingernail biting at the stadium here tonight. Of course, there's plenty of sports action here on CBS Radio all the time. The weekend of January 14th and 15th, for instance. I'm going to have a Super Bowl weekend for you. 17 broadcasts recalling all the color of Super Bowls past and the one that's growing now. Then on Sunday, January 15th, the spectacular game itself, pro football for you, when CBS Radio Sports brings you the Super Bowl. That from New Orleans. Well, as we look out at the field and we hear the murmur of the crowd in the back, Bert Hooton has taken his time getting back to the Dodger dugout and making his way to the mound. Now he's manicuring the spikes because he was the last batter up, though he didn't run very vigorously on that little looper to right field. Nevertheless, it's always the pitcher's prerogative to take his time, presumably to conserve his energy. He's the guy that does the most work out there. Right now, he's doing a deep knee bend or two. Hooten has had a very successful season. You'd never know it when you talk to him. Or does he react that way? I understand his nickname is Happy, given to him by Tom Lasorda, basically because he never smiles. Well, when you're winning, you don't have to smile. Lasorda, for instance, will tell you interminably most of the time that he loves his job, and he loves his players, and he loves the game. I had a chance to ask him, has he ever had a losing season? I was wondering how much of a lover he would be there. He looked at me in surprise, mock surprise, and said, losing season? What's that? Okay, he maintained that he didn't. Well, you hear the response to the right fielder, number 44, Reggie Jackson.
Well, Lasorda wasn't exactly honest with you, Win, because he did have a club at Spokane in 1971 that finished third and lost 7 more than they won. He's had winners everywhere else.
I would suspect he would maintain, Spokane aside, that wasn't part of the United States or something.
Reggie Jackson's had 5 hits in the last 3 series games, and he scored 2 runs in each of those 3. He takes a high pitch from Hooten for a ball, 1-0. Reggie's 6 for 17 in the series, 3 runs batted in. Jackson with 2 home runs. The next one from Hooten, inside for ball 2, 2-0. Jackson was 0 for 4 against Hooten the first time they faced here last Wednesday night. 2 balls and no strikes to Reggie Jackson, leading off in the last of the second. Hooten's pitch is low and outside, ball 3, 3-0. Hooten finished 3rd this year in the National League in earned run average. He wound up the year at 2.62. Only John Candelaria of the Pirates and Tom Seaver of the Mets and then Reds had a better ERA. The 3-0 pitch to Reggie, a high, ball 4, and on 4 pitches, Jackson walks.
And the fact that he gets on base at this particular instant makes him the most popular man in town. He's been quoted, misquoted, listened to, unlistened to. You know the story.
Chris Chambliss was also 0 for 4 against Hooten in Game 2. Chris has had 5 hits in the series and 20 at-bats. Bert Hooten out of a stretch. The pitch to the Yankee first baseman is low, ball 1. So Hooten has missed on 5 straight, opening up the second inning. Dodgers 2, Yankees nothing. With that 1 hit in the game, a 2-run triple over the first base bag by Steve Garvey of the Dodgers in the first inning. The next one to Chambliss. That's a strike on the inside corner at the belt, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
I suspect the Yankee Stadium crowd is trying to emulate the Veterans Stadium crowd in Philadelphia when Hooten was presumably upset by the constant noise.
Now the stretch by Hooten. He looks at Jackson. There goes Reggie, a bluff. The pitch is low and outside, and Jackson comes back to the bag. 2 balls and 1 strike to Chris Chambliss with Greg Nettles on deck. Hooten is ready, working quickly. 2-1 pitch to Chambliss. A drive to right center field and deep. Way back, going. A home run for Chris Chambliss, and we're tied 2-2.
Chambliss has struck in the series. He got the fat part of the bat on it and smashed it 385 feet into the right center field stand. And the Yankee bench is a whirlpool of activity. And Tom Lasorda, no, that's Red Adams, comes out to speak to the Dodger pitchers. I noticed just before Chambliss took his place at bat, Billy Martin was up on the top step, wig-wagging furiously, fake and false and real signs, giving him the rolling fist, the fight sign. Billy, as you probably have heard, got a vote of confidence from owner Steinbrenner and general manager Gabe Paul this afternoon. A bonus for the year. He will be retained for the remaining 2 years of his contract. Red Adams has come out to settle down Bert Hooten, aided and abetted in part by the Yankee Stadium throng, which has thrown the unrolling kind of tissue paper out, and the stadium group has had to go out and clear the field, and the din has not let up as it is now 2-2, no outs, second inning. Yankees at bat. And Ross, who is it?
Elias Sosa is throwing Win in the Dodger bullpen. Chris Chambliss, who hit 17 home runs during the American League season, has knotted it with a 2-run blast to right center. Greg Nettles takes the knuckle curve low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Hooten only gave up 14 home runs during the National League season. That was the second low total on the Dodger staff. Tommy John gave up only 12. Here is Nettles, 4 for 17 in the series. A ground smash to Garvey. One-hands it behind the bag and carries it over. 1 away. So Nettles ripped it, but right at Garvey, and we have 1 gone in the New York second inning.
And this is Lou Piniella. That is the ooh you hear in the background. That's Lou, not boo. A knuckleball, whether it's a curve or just a inexplicable dancer, when it doesn't break, is duck soup. And it looked like Chambliss caught one that didn't do any breaking.
He got all of it and drove it at least 400 feet into the right center field seats. Lou Piniella, 1 for 3 against Hooten in the first outing between the two. Fouls 1 back for a strike. Piniella, 6 for 19 in the series. But Lou fighting a mild slump at the moment. He's 0 for 7. 2-2, bottom of the second. Bert Hooten to the windup, and the 0-1 pitch to Piniella. High pop fly on the middle of the infield, and a shallow right center. Reggie Smith coming in, calling for it. Loses the cap and makes the catch. 2 away as Piniella pops up to Smith. Here's shortstop Bucky Dent. It was Dent's 2-out error in the first inning, which set up the Dodger 2-run salvo. Dent bobbling Reggie Smith's hopper, and then after Ron Say walked, Garvey whacked the triple down the right field line to chase in 2. Hooten to the windup, the pitch to Dent, knuckle curve, swung on it, missed, strike 1. Dent 1 for 2 against Hooten in the series and 5 for 17 against Dodger pitching. Crowd's over from the right side. It's a ground ball out to Davey Lopes. 2-hopper, Davey's got it and throws him out. So Hooten settles down after Chambliss' 2-run homer deadlocks the ball game. 2 runs, 1 hit, nobody left. And at the end of 2 innings in Game 6, Dodgers 2, Yankees 2.
Someday you'll own. Someday you'll own. Sooner or later you'll own Generals.
Don't pay extra for long mileage tires until you see the expert at your nearest General Tire headquarters. They've got the famous General Dual Steel 2 radial, the same tire that you'll see on many of Detroit's finest cars at a price that's right for today's budget. You get 2 steel belts, radial ply construction, and smooth riding polyester cord. Stop in today. Check your yellow pages for the General Tire headquarters nearest you.
Sooner or later you'll own Generals. Sooner or later you'll own Generals.
Okay, we're about to go to the top of the third, and both pitchers now are even. Mike Torres was touched for a triple after an error and a walk had put him in jeopardy. Then Bert Hooten having walked Jackson, a home run by Chambliss. So it was really only 1 hit apiece. You mean Mrs. Carter came all the way from California?
She's really wrapped up in this series, Win, and Miss Carter is here to see Game 6, as she was for Games 4 and 5 in Los Angeles.
And another warm welcome for another guest seated near her, the Attorney General of the United States, Mr. Griffin Bell.
Attorney General Griffin Bell is also here at Yankee Stadium tonight, along with 56,000 plus other baseball fans, and they're seeing a stirring start to Game 6 of the 1977 Classic. The Dodgers getting 2 runs in the first on an error, a walk, and Steve Garvey's triple, and the Yankees coming back to square it in the second on a walk and a 2-run homer by Chris Chambliss. And out in Southern California, they may be about to revoke Chris Chambliss' UCLA alumni card. Here's Davey Lopes taking low and outside from Mike Torres as we go to the 3rd inning. The 3rd inning has been the most productive of the World Series so far for the Dodgers. They have scored 7 runs in the 3rd inning. Lopes fouls one back. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Ross, you sound like they may issue you a UCLA card, unless maybe you already have one. I don't know.
No. Mine is at the University of Oklahoma, Win. The next pitch to Lopes. Popped up foul. It'll make the stands off to the right. Back out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Lopes. Davey grounded out to Bucky Dent to open the ball game. The last time a World Series was completed in 6 games was 18 years ago. Can you believe that? When the Dodgers took the White Sox in 1959, 4 games to 2. Torres' 1-2 pitch to Lopes is hammered foul back onto the screen again. So the count remains the same.
18 years ago. I'm not that old.
I found that hard to believe, but ever since then they've all gone 4, 5, or 7. Mike Torres back even in the ball game. Steps up on the slab, looks down to Munson. Now ready to go to work. 6'5" right-hander deals 1-2 to Lopes. Low ball 2, 2-2. Two runs, 1 hit for each team. The Yankees have an error that helped cost them 2 runs. Lopes waiting, the 2-2 pitch. Low outside, ball 3, 3-2. Torres threw 133 pitches in Game 3, so they'll watch him closely. There's a hopper back to Torres, reaches up and gloves it, turns and throws. The Chambliss in the dirt. Chambliss digs it out. So a good reflex by Mike Torres, first of all, to get that hopper up the middle. And then he almost threw it away, but Chambliss dug it out. So it went away, and here's Russell.
That was not an easy play on either end. He leaped up, and then it seemed to me he aimed the ball instead of just chucking it over there. And now Chris Chambliss has the home run and the out-quencher on Davey Lopes, the young man from Providence, Rhode Island, who it's often been said, as Dave goes, so go the Dodgers.
Russell grounded out to second his first time up. Billy bounces one to the shortstop, Dent, this time. Bucky up throwing, 2 away. Reggie Smith got things started for the Dodgers in the first inning with his hopper to the left side, which Dent bobbled for the error. Reggie, much better percentage hitter and power hitter from that left side.
And I think by all odds, his home run in the second game has been the longest hit of the series.
Reggie takes low for a ball. Smith leads the Dodgers in runs during the series with 6 now, including the one tonight in the 6 games. Torres' 1-0 pitch. It's swung on a miss. Good fastball by Mike. Billy Martin was not going to start Torres tonight, but he was told Ed Figueroa's index finger tendonitis was not 100% healed, so he went back to Mike. The 1-1 pitch to Smith. There's a drive to center field and deep. Rivers turns. That one's going to be gone again into the right center field pavilion, and the Dodgers regain the lead 3-2 on Reggie Smith's 3rd home run of the World Series.
That was almost exactly where the one he hit in the second game was deposited, well over the 385-foot mark, easily 400. The fat part of the bat, you could tell from the crack in the trajectory. There was no question about it at all. And so the Dodgers go back into the lead, 3-2.
The Dodgers now have hit 9 home runs in this series, the most since the 1955 Brooklyn Dodgers hit 9. And so the 9 here this year by the Dodgers equals the National League high. The 1957 Braves that hit 8 home runs. Ron Say takes inside for a ball. The 1956 Yankees hold the all-time record, 12 home runs in a series. Say takes on the outside corner for a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike. So 3-2 Los Angeles as Reggie Smith unloads. Say waiting 1-1. The pitch from Torres is high and inside, 2-1. The Dodgers then have scored all 3 of their runs here tonight after 2 are out. Say waits. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Here's a ground ball to the left side. Nettles, bobbles, and has no play. Gregg lunged to his left in front of Dent to get his glove on the ball. And while Prone tried to come up and throw and couldn't do it, it'll be a base hit for Ron Say. So Say, who walked and scored in the first inning, is on again with 2 out here in the 3rd. 3 hits now for the Dodgers off Mike Torres.
I'm not sure that if Greg hadn't let it go through, Dent was in position to field the ball, but whether his long throw would have been quick enough, I'm not sure.
That's a very good point, Win, and it also reminds us of the ball hit out in Los Angeles in Game 3 when Say cut in front of Russell. And had the ball go off his glove, where if Russell had been allowed to get the ball, they would have had probably a force out at second at worst. So the little things all add up in a great classic like this. Here's Garvey, who tripled in 2 his first time up. Torres misses outside for a ball. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the CBS Radio Network.
WCBS, New York.
The 1-0 pitch to Garvey. Inside ball 2, 2-0. No activity now in either bullpen. Dodgers 3, Yankees 2, top of the 3rd inning in New York. Game 6. If there's a Game 7, we'll be on the air tomorrow night on CBS at 8:07 Eastern Time. Torres is set. 2-0 pitch to Garvey. Foul back. Tommy John would pitch Game 7, if there is one, for Los Angeles. And Ron Guidry apparently now is Billy Martin's choice for Game 7. Although there were reports here yesterday, Martin wouldn't use Guidry in Game 7. Garvey slugs one to center field and deep, but Rivers going back. He'll have a play in front of the warning track and makes the catch. The Garvey hit it close to 400 feet, the deepest part, one of the deepest parts of the ballpark, and an easy out for Mickey Rivers. The Dodgers, though, go back in front. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left. At the end of 2.5 innings, Dodgers 3, Yankees 2.
In an age when so many products do only what they have to, it's almost a shock to find one that does a lot more.
Mobil One, the oil that does it all.
Mobil One is a synthetic motor oil made by man to do things Mother Nature never dreamed of. Mobil One makes your gas go farther, and you can drive Mobil One for 15,000 miles or 1 year, whichever comes first, without an oil change. If your car is new, use Mobil One and just follow warranty rules. Mobil One also reduces engine wear, helps your engine run clean, and works so well in hot weather that you don't have to change oil when the seasons change. And Mobil One can help start a well...
Sports golf, the Masters, racing, the Triple Crown, baseball, All-Star, League Championships, and next year's World Series. In case you like tennis, too, how about the U.S. Open? If sports turns you on, turn to CBS Radio Sports all year long on many of these CBS Radio Network stations. And so it's Reggie Smith, who's done it before, and he did it again in that 3rd inning of the Dodger half. The one blow, putting the Dodgers back up on top. 3 runs to the Yankees 2. 3-3-0 the score for Dodgers. 2-1-1, 1 error by Bucky Dent. The line for the Yankees. Okay, Ross.
Mike Torres swings and misses the first pitch from Bert Hooton as we go to the Yankee half of the 3rd inning. New York has not scored in this series in the 3rd inning or in the 9th, and Torres takes high for the ball, 1-1. Los Angeles has been blanked in the 7th and 8th innings. Now the windup by Bert Hooton, and here comes the 1-1 pitch. A swing and a miss, strike 2, 1-2. Torres was 0 for 3 when he hit in Game 3 in Los Angeles. Hooton ready, the 1-2 pitch. Knuckle curve got him swinging, 1 out in the Yankee 3rd inning. For Bert Hooton, his first strikeout of the game. He had 8, remember, the first time he faced New York. Here's Mickey Rivers, who fouled out the Dusty Baker in the 1st inning. Baker reaching into the front row of the seats along the left field line to make the catch. Rivers has not had a hit in his last 8 at-bats against the Dodgers. He bounces one up along the first baseline and a roll foul. Mickey now 4 for 24 in the series. Of course, when Rivers gets on, the Yankee offense is certainly boosted.
Encouraged. He does cause the defense to anticipate so many possibilities with him on first base. Almost every single becomes a double.
Ron Say playing way in the grass for Rivers. Here's Hooton's 1-strike pitch. Knuckle curve in the dirt. 1-1. Until Chambliss hit the 2-run homer in the 2nd, no Yankee had driven in more than 1 run in any World Series game this year. Rivers fouls it out of play along the left field line, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. So the Yankees, over the last week, have had a lot of people with RBI totals of 1. But nobody had two until Chambliss. Rivers takes way upstairs. Ball two. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Hooten.
Of course, the Dodgers have outscored the Yankees prior to tonight, 24-18. It's been a very even series at the plate.
2-2 pitch to Rivers. Foul back our way upstairs. Still 2-2. Dodgers now have scored 17 of their 27 runs in the series as the result of home runs. Rivers bounces one out toward Davey Lopes. Lopes has got the high hopper and throws him out. So 2 away in the New York third inning. Second baseman Willie Randolph grounded out to short his first time up.
Willie Randolph.
I think back to the 1960 World Series win. Remember the Pirates and Yankees went around and around. The Yankees wound up outscoring the Pirates 55-27. And Pittsburgh won the World Championship. So the run sometimes, that doesn't tell all the story. Pitch inside to Randolph. The Yankees that year won 16-3, 10-0, and 12-0. And Pittsburgh won the other 4 games. 1-0 pitch to Randolph. High, ball 2.
There was an instance of too much of a good thing.
Well, the Yankees have won all the close games this year. The Dodgers have won the 2 lopsided contests. Randolph takes a high strike, 2-1. New York has won by 1 run in 12 innings, by 2 runs, by 2 runs. Los Angeles has won by 5 runs and by 6 runs. 2 balls and 1 strike. The Yankees second baseman Willie Randolph. Bert Hooten's pitch popped up down the middle of the diamond. Rick Mundy coming in. Davey Lopes going out. Lopes gives way. Mundy loses the cap and makes the catch. And Bert Hooten, just as he did in the first inning, gets the Yankees in order in the third. And at the end of 3 innings, in Game 6 at Yankee Stadium, it's the Dodgers 3, the Yankees 2.
Hello, Mama. Hello, Papa. Greetings from camp. Nakahapa. We had an all-day cookout here. Later on, I got a case of diarrhea. I was feeling kinda dismal. Counselor gave me Pepto-Bismol. Now I'm feeling much, much better. That's the news for now. I hope you liked my letter.
Pepto-Bismol for common diarrhea. Read and follow label directions.
Hudson had 3. Now for a brief update from CBS News.
I'm David Jackson reporting on the CBS Radio Network. A clarification today from the State Department on U.S.-Israeli working papers for Geneva peace talks. The U.S. says Israel has the right to block participation by the PLO. A hero's welcome today in Frankfurt for West German commandos returning from Somalia after storming a hijacked airliner and freeing 86 hostages. Violent demonstrations broke out in Rome and Athens, leftists protesting the commando raid. And in Washington, a Pentagon spokesman says the United States has specially trained forces prepared to cope with terrorist incidents. House Senate conferees working toward a compromise energy bill ended their first day of debate today at odds on the first issue discussed. Should utility companies finance and install home insulation? The House says yes, the Senate no. A House committee today approved an extra $500 million for the Postal Service. The money is to keep some small-town post offices open and keep the mail coming on Saturdays. Now back to the World Series in New York. I'm David Jackson, CBS News.
Comparatively quiet Yankee Stadium as we've gone through the first 3 innings here in game number 6 with the Dodgers holding a 3-2 lead. Reggie Smith's 3rd home run of the series, the first of the night, giving the LA's that lead in the top of the 3rd as Mike Torres goes to work, Ross.
Dusty Baker leads off. He struck out his first time up. He checks his swing on a high pitch from Torres for ball 1, 1-0. The team which has scored first has won 4 of the 5 series games, the last 4. Baker takes inside ball 2, 2-0. The Dodgers led here 2-0 in game 1, as we told you, but the Yankees came back to win that one in 12 innings, 4-3. Torres has 2 0 pitches outside to Dusty for ball 3, and it's 3-0. Baker steps out, looks down to Preston Gomez to see if they might let him swing 3-0. Mundy and Yeager to follow in the Los Angeles 4th. The pitch called strike. 3-1. 3 runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. 2 runs, 1 hit, 1 error for the Yankees. Mike Torres' 3-1 pitch popped into the right center field. Fairly deep, though, the ball carrying. Reggie Jackson going back to the warning track and's got a play. So that one fooled me. When it was hit, it didn't look like it would carry that far. But Jackson wound up about 375 feet or so away, making the catch, and Baker went the opposite way. He's been one of the few Dodgers the last couple of days to try to go to right center field.
The length of that blow didn't fool Billy Martin. He's got Dick Tidrow up, warming up in the Yankee bullpen.
Rick Monday bounced out to Chris Chambliss his first time up. Chris playing deep on the dirt part of the infield at first, and Monday takes a called strike from Torres. If you joined us late, the Dodgers got 2 runs after 2 men were retired in the first inning. Monday takes inside, and it's 1-1. Smith was aboard on Bucky Dent's error at shortstop. Ron Say walked, and Steve Garvey lined one over the first base bag into the right field corner to drive in 2 runs. Yankees got 2 in the second on Jackson's walk and Chris Chambliss' long homer. Monday lines a base hit over shortstop in the left field, and the Dodgers have their 4th hit on Mike Torres. Piniella falls down, but he gets the ball back in, and Monday with a long sweep around first holds on with a single. Dodgers have had a hit now in every inning except the second. Here's Steve Yeager. Yeager was one of Mike Torres' 2 strikeout victims up to now when he went down swinging in the second inning. Baker had been called out in the first. Torres has pitched to Yeager. The smash past third. Fair ball. Off the railing on left field. Here's Monday on the way to third base. Piniella throwing to second. They got a shot at Yeager. He is out at second base. Good throw by Lou Piniella. He played the carom off the railing and threw out the Dodger catcher, who went in stomach first. But Billy Martin is on the way out to the mound, and even though Bert Hooton is due up, it could be that Billy thinks Mike Torres has gone far enough. So Lou Piniella with a great defensive play for the Yankees. Otherwise, the Dodgers would have had 2 men in scoring position with 1 out. But that's what you call being familiar with the grounds. Piniella has played that bounce before, and he was on it in a hurry. And threw a perfect strike into second baseman Willie Randolph, and they got Steve Yeager. So Mike Torres is aided by a great throw by Piniella, and Billy Martin's going to stay with him as Bert Hooton comes up.
I remember a play in the playoffs in the American League where Lou was not quite that gracious in his playing the bounce. He had thought a fan touched it, and they lollygagged the throw in, and everyone was running around like mad. Nobody had touched it, and so, you know, they all even up, I guess.
Here's Hooton with Monday at third and 2 out. Torres delivers, and the pitch is low for a ball, 1-0. Hooton hit a soft fly ball to Reggie Jackson his first time up tonight. So 2 out, a runner at third instead of second and third and 1 out. Called strike to Hooton at the knees, and it's 1-1. So that could be a big play in this ball game. Only time will tell. 5 hits now for the Dodgers off Torres, including 2 this inning. But all Los Angeles has to show for it is a runner at third with 2 away.
And Steve Yeager is turning out to be the big batter for the Dodgers.
Yeager with his 6th hit of the series, 2 less than Garvey. Hooton swings through a pitch from Torres, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. When the Yankees bat in the 4th, they'll send up Thurman Munson, Reggie Jackson, and Chris Chambliss. 3-2 Dodgers in the top of the 4th inning. Monday down the line, the 1-2 pitch to Hooton got him swinging. So Torres, thanks to a fine play by Lou Piniella on Yeager's base hit, gets the Dodgers. No runs, 2 hits, 1 left. And at the end of 3.5 innings in Game 6, Dodgers 3, Yankees 2.
American Motors proudly announces an exciting all-new luxury compact, the AMC Concord DL. There's never been a car quite like this before, because when American Motors builds a luxury compact, the luxury is standard. The 1978 Concord DL has a crushed velour interior with individual reclining front seats, standard. White wall tires, color-keyed wheel covers, wood grain instrument panel, electric digital clock, extra quiet insulation, all standard at no extra cost. Plus one thing you can't get anywhere else at any cost, the exclusive coverage of AMC's Buyer Protection Plan. Concord DL is available in 2-door, 4-door, and wagon models, all efficiently sized and with an uncommonly smooth, quiet ride. See them at your AMC dealers now. AMC Concord DL, the luxury Americans want, the size America needs.
You'll like the value Concord DL offers, too. Ask your AMC dealer for a test drive today.
Remember, Super Bowl Sunday, January 15th, CBS Radio Sports is going to be on hand to provide you with all the play-by-play action from New Orleans on most of these CBS Radio Network stations. Bert Hooton, once again, the last batter in the inning, takes the pitcher's prerogative. He'd been the last batter in the second inning as he was in this inning, and he's lallygagging out to the mound after a few deep breaths there in the dugout, just taking his time. He's going to try to go 9, of course, and anything he can keep from doing other than pitching is to his advantage. As for Mike Torres, his infield did him in the first inning and allowed 2 unearned runs. Well, in that fourth inning, they snapped back and helped him out. That 2-base blow, or normally it would have been with Steve Yeager's blast to left field. Lou Piniella, who's not exactly a sprinter, managed to get to the ball, and he threw out Steve Yeager, who is not exactly a sprinter, and that got Torres out of the inning. That and the National League's refusal to have a DH didn't help their cause that time. Of course, that's not the point, but that's what happened. So as we go into the last half of the fourth, virtue of Reggie Smith's home run in the third inning, the Dodgers lead it 3-2, and the Yankees captain to the plate.
Thurman Munson has a 9-game hitting string in World Series competition. He's hit safely in 9 of the 10 postseason games this year, hitting at a .310 clip, counting the playoffs. Munson grounded out the short his first time up. Thurman has struck out 7 times in the series. That's the most of any player on either team. Bert Hooton goes to the windup with a 3-2 lead and delivers. And an off-speed pitch is high for a ball, 1-0. Hooton used only 36 pitches in the first 3 innings. Chris Chambliss ripped him for a 2-run homer in the second. But the Dodgers got the lead back on Reggie Smith's 3rd homer of the series in the 3rd. The pitch to Munson. Drive to left field. That's going to be a base hit. Dusty Baker over to get it. Cuts it off. Munson around first will have to haul with a long single. So Munson extends his hitting string in World Series play to 10 games. That's the Yankees' second hit off Hooton. The other one was Chambliss's homer. And here's Reggie Jackson. Jackson walked on 4 pitches his last time up there. Drive to right field and deep. Smith going back, away back. It's gone. A home run, Reggie Jackson.
Well, Bert Hooton threw the wrong ball. Reggie Jackson made it the long ball. 2 swipes of the bat for the Yankees. In the second and fourth inning, Chris Chambliss left-handed, Reggie Jackson left-handed, each time with a man aboard. And the Yankees take the lead 4-3, and we're having a blizzard of paper here in left field, right field, and a momentary halt as Davy Lopes comes in to settle down his pitcher, Bert Hooton. I've said it before, when that knuckle curve doesn't break, it's a gone goose. And now the big guy who hit the first 2-run homer for the Yanks, Chris Chambliss. Ross?
The Yankees ahead for the first time tonight on Reggie Jackson's 3rd home run of this World Series. Here's Chambliss, knuckle curve for a called strike. And Reggie Jackson with 2 more runs scored tonight. Remember, he walked and came across in front of Chambliss's homer. Jackson has scored 8 runs in the last 4 games, 2 per contest. Pitch by Hooton is low in the dirt to Chambliss for a ball, 1-1. So Jackson has scored 8 of the Yankees' 22 runs in this series. And it's 4-3 New York on a couple of 2-run homers by a pair of left-handed sluggers, Chambliss and Jackson. Chambliss takes low, ball 2, 2-1. Elias Sosa throwing again in the Dodger bullpen, and here comes Tommy Lasorda. When Jackson's ball wound up in the lower deck in right field, Steve Yeager had gone out in front of the plate, and he signaled to the bench, and he signaled as if to say he's lost it. He doesn't have much on it. And now Lasorda going out to talk to Hooton, and when Lasorda goes out, he's a man who usually brings the hook with him. Sosa had thrown earlier in the ball game, and now let's see whether Lasorda decides the Yankees pitcher. There is no tomorrow for Los Angeles. The Yankees have an opportunity to make some gambles tonight, knowing that it would be a 7th game tomorrow, but not so for the Dodgers.
And once again, Ross, it's the person of Reggie Jackson. Reggie had been a thorn in Los Angeles' side when it was an Oakland A World Series, as you might remember. That one went 5 games. In that series, it was Holtzman, Hunter, and Jackson of this current Yankee squad. And Tom Lasorda has had enough of a talk with Bert Hooton. He's called for a relief pitcher to come in. I presume it will be Sosa. Sosa, who pitched a couple of strong relief innings here against the Yankees. He didn't do that well against the Phillies. In 1 inning, he gave up 2 hits. And you recall a balk in the game, the second game, that the Dodgers lost. But thereafter, Sosa has been the kind of relief pitcher you need. He's not allowed anything. Of course, the Yankee crowd, invigorated by Reggie Jackson's line drive blast to right field, likely about 340 feet. 2 big blows for the Yankees have put them on top. After Jackson walked into second, Chris Chambliss put it into the Babe Ruth porch. And then in the 4th inning, after Captain Munson did what he's done in every World Series game he's played in, whacked a safe hit to left field, Reggie Jackson came up, and loving the limelight as he does, he has the ability, the verve, and the jazz to come to it when it's necessary. He put it into the porch and gave the Yanks the 4-3 lead. Well, most baseball fans are all-around sports fans, and CBS Radio Sports, of course, knows that and includes you in all our thinking. This postseason football, that's the Fiesta, Sun, and Cotton Bowls, the NFC Championship game, and the Super Bowl game. And for golf fans, there's the Masters, the Triple Crown for the horse racing buffs. Oh, hey, the Washington, D.C. International, too, on November 5th. And the U.S. Open Tennis Championship, of course. And next summer, all the big ones. The playoffs, the World Series, sure. Plenty of sports, all here on many of these CBS Radio Network stations.
One 27-year-old right-hander replaces another. Elias Sosa, out of the Dominican Republic, comes on for the Dodgers. Sosa has not seen service in this World Series since 6 nights ago. He came in Game 1, you might recall, in the 8th inning, with the Yankees leading 3-2, and the bases loaded, and 1 out. And Sosa proceeded to strike out Lou Piniella and get Bucky Dent to bounce into a fielder's choice. Those were the only 2 men he faced. Yankees saw the Dodgers tie it in the 9th on Lee Lacy's pinch single off Sparky Lyle. But New York came back to win in 12. So it's been a while since Sosa has worked. Elias, who throws a good breaking ball, good slider, finished 3rd among National League relievers this year in earned run average. By year's end, he had dropped that ERA down to 1.97.
And Rossi comes in to pitch to Chambliss with the count 2 balls and 1 strike.
So Chambliss technically belongs to Bert Hooton. Nobody out, nobody on. 2 runs over for the Yankees in the 4th inning on Reggie Jackson's 3rd home run of the series. So both Reggies, Jackson of the Yankees and Smith of the Dodgers, have clubbed 3 home runs here in this year's series. 4-3 New York. Here's Sosa's pitch to Chambliss. Outside ball 3, 3-1. Greg Nettles on deck, Lou Piniella to follow. For the first time this evening, the Yankees are ahead, 4-3. Sosa to the windup, the 3-1 pitch. Popped up on the left side. Russell going out in shallow left. Baker coming in. Russell calling. Ball drops. On the way to second, Chambliss, and he'll make it. Baker and Russell got messed up on their communications. They both lost their caps going for it. It looked like Russell was going to get it. And at the last second, Bill shied away, and Dusty couldn't get there. And just like that, Chambliss goes into second base. And I guess it'll have to be a gift double. Nobody touched it.
That should have been an easy catch for Baker. We could see that as Russell was angling over, it was going to be a real tough play for him. He actually overran the ball. And Baker had to hold off. He could have taken it easily, a little crack in the Dodger composure now.
So it's a double for Chambliss. He's out at second base with his second extra base hit of the game. And here's Greg Nettles, who grounded out to Garvey his first time up. Sosa ready, the pitch. Sinker low for a ball, 1-0. Sosa calls time. He wants to talk to Yeager. It might also be, Win, that the noise of the crowd drowned out either Baker or Russell calling for the ball and led to that boo-boo.
Well, but Baker had it in front of him all the way.
It was Baker's play. He should have made the play, although he had a long run.
Well, you remember earlier, Nettles, with all that range he has, outdid himself, got in front of a ball that Dent could have handled. It's just the tension and the desire to do all out, to overdo occasionally in a World Series game.
Big balloon came out of the stands onto the field, so Dick Hauser came down from third and stepped on it. Bobby Cox coaching at first for New York. Sosa at the belt. Nettles waiting 1-0. Chambliss away from second, nobody out. The pitch. Outside, ball 2-0.
Nettles is a very dangerous threat in Yankee Stadium, although you can't prove it by his play in this World Series. He has not really hit a hard ball.
Nettles and Willie Randolph were named today to the Sporting News All-Star team for this year, along with Steve Garvey of the Dodgers. Sosa's 2-0 pitch is a ground ball to second. That'll get the runner over. Lopes fields it, throws out Nettles, but Chambliss goes to third. One away. Lou Piniella coming up. He flied out to right field his first time up. The Dodgers trailing by a run. Don't want to give up any more, so they bring the infield in here in the fourth inning with Chambliss over at third. And that could be a big run in this ball game, and it could be a gift if New York can cash it in.
And I might say, Ross, for an infield to come in on Piniella, he is the best bat mechanic, with the possible exception of Thurman Munson on this Yankees squad. He can place the ball as though we're on top of a pool table.
Sosa will work out of a stretch to Piniella, who is 0 for 8 the last few games. Sosa ready. The pitch. Grounded foul over toward the Dodger dugout. 4 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for the Yankees. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. We're in the last of the fourth. Los Angeles got 2 in the first. New York came back with 2 in the second. Los Angeles got 1 in the third. New York has 2 in here in the fourth inning. And we've had 3 home runs, 2 for the Yankees. Piniella waiting. No balls and 1 strike. Chambliss off the bag at third. Here is Sosa's pitch. Inside and low, 1-1. Shortstop Bucky Dent is next. So the Dodgers and Sosa will be careful with Piniella, who hit .330 during the regular season. Remember, we told you Sosa struck out Piniella the other time he faced him here in the series. He'd like a strikeout now. The stretch. The 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball line, left field and deep. Baker going back, he'll catch it, but Chambliss will score after the catch, and the Yankees lead 5-3. For Piniella, his 3rd RBI of the series, and the Yankees cash in a Dodger mistake for the 3rd run of the frame. That should have been the 3rd out, and Sosa and the Dodgers should have been back on the bench, trailing only 4-3. But because of the misplay in left field, the Yankees add another. Here's Bucky Dent with 2 out and nobody on. Dent grounded out to second his first time up, checks his swing and didn't go around, according to first base umpire Nestor Shylock, on an appeal by plate umpire John McSherry. Yankees 5, Dodgers 3, bottom of the 4th. The next one to Dent. Inside, ball 2, 2-0. When the Dodgers bat in the 5th, they'll have the top of the lineup: Lopes, Russell, and Smith. It's the first time tonight the Dodgers have found themselves behind. Sosa, no wind-up delivery. Inside the Dent, ball 3, 3-0. The Dodgers have out-hit the Yankees 5-4, but the Yankees have a couple of 2-run homers and a gift double, which they just cashed in for another run. Sosa winds, the pitch to Dent, called strike. Scoreboard shows it 2-2, but it's actually 3-1 since the first pitch was a ball. McSherry trying to get the scoreboard's attention. Well, he got the 3-2. They're still a little off. Sosa's next pitch, breaking ball, hammered foul down the left field side. So now it's 3-2 to Bucky Dent.
The ball boy down the third base line made a beautiful play on that one. Reached across his body and got it backhanded. And the Yankees have done it both ways this round. Power, and then inch him along and fly out to the field and get him in.
Full count pitch on the way from Sosa to Dent. Inside, ball 4. That's the second walk by Dodger pitcher. Hooten walked Reggie Jackson in the second inning, and it cost him when Chris Chambliss followed with a home run. Here comes Mike Torres up, and he becomes the 7th man to bat in the New York 4th inning.
But to be perfectly honest and fair to Hooten, he did not walk him in the 4th inning, and it cost him. More costly in the 4th inning because Jackson put it into the stands with Munson on first, and that put the Yankees ahead 4-3. Then the foozle in left field, the ground ball, and the sacrifice fly has made it 5-3.
Mike Torres went down swinging in the 3rd inning. He's 0 for 4 in the series. Sosa out of the stretch. The pitch got the outside corner for a strike. Mike Torres, one of 8 children from a Mexican-American family which lives in Topeka, Kansas. His dad worked for the railroad out there. Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe. There's a bouncer out to the left side. Bill Russell's got it. He'll make the long throw to Garvey, and they get Torres. But New York goes in front with 3 runs on 3 hits and 1 left. At the end of 4 innings in Game 6, Yankees 5, Dodgers 3.
As you listen to the game today, whether you're rooting for the Yankees or the Dodgers, here's something new. I know all of you out there can cheer. New Mellow Roast Coffee and Grain Beverage. Mellow Roast Coffee and Grain Beverage. Mellow Roast starts with 3 kinds of rich, robust coffees, then blends in roasted grain to take away the bitter edge, so you enjoy full-flavored coffee taste without the bitterness. With the new Mellow Roast, everybody comes out a winner. Pick up some Mellow Roast at your supermarket today. It's new from General Foods.
And now a commercial from the makers of Bayer Aspirin.
In Washington, the Food and Drug Administration released important news about aspirin and aspirin substitutes. The news release reports that a panel of medical experts, in one of their findings, found no basis for the claim that aspirin substitutes are safer than aspirin.
That's right. Aspirin substitutes were not found safer than aspirin. When you want relief, get Bayer Aspirin. Bayer has relieved more pain than any medication in history. Use only as directed.
Okay, the Dodgers come to bat in the top of the 5th. They went into the bottom of the 4th, leading by a run. Now they trailed by 2. And the guy out in right field who does everything is picking up papers now. Reggie Jackson, number 44. He seems to need adversity. He seems to need turmoil to bring out the best in him. He was a part of the Huff and Puff Oakland A's. He's been in the midst of all the misunderstandings that have been here in Yankee Stadium in this year of '77. Remember the near fisticuffs with his manager in the Boston dugout? The various magazine articles, Jackson seems to have a genius for saying something 2 months before it comes out in print. By the time it comes out in print, he wishes he hadn't said it, and maybe he didn't mean it. But this club, remember the old pinstripe Yankees? This year it's been the pinstripe Yankees. Nevertheless, here they are through 4 innings, leading the Dodgers 5-3 in what could be the last game of the series, Ross.
Yankee manager Billy Martin was given a nice bonus today by the Yankee front office. Of course, he has a couple of more years on his present contract. So they, in effect, gave him a vote of confidence, and Martin will be back next year. Davey Lopes leads off in the Dodger 5th, runs up the bunt and takes low for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Lopes has bounced out twice tonight, to Dent in the 1st inning and back to Torres in the 3rd. Davy's been on base 5 times in the last 2 games in Los Angeles, including a home run and a triple. Torres' pitch, low ball 2-0. Yankees leading now by 2 runs as we go to the 5th inning. Lopes steps out and looks down to Gomez at 3rd. They're not together yet on their signs. Gomez has a different set of signs for each Dodger player. 2-0 pitch. Popped up on the left side. Bucky Dent going out. Lou Piniella coming in. Same play that the Dodgers had. This time the Yankees make it work, though, and Piniella has it. One away for Bill Russell, who's been a victim of 2 infield grounders tonight. One to second, one to short. Mike Torres never played high school baseball out in Topeka. He played American Legion ball. And in 17, he signed with the Cardinals for a $20,000 bonus. Russell takes inside. Mike later went to Montreal from St. Louis. Then Oakland. Now to the Yankees. Pitch low to Russell for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. And that brings Billy Martin on the run out of the Yankee dugout.
And it brings Sparky Lyle to his feet in the Yankee bullpen. And incidentally, Ross, Mike Torres has not signed a Yankee contract. He says they have not offered him one that's sweet enough. And here he conceivably could win 2 of the necessary 4 in the series and not be a member of the Yankees next year or evermore.
Martin's had his say. He's back down the steps of the dugout, and Torres ready to go to work to Russell. 2 balls and no strikes. Reggie Smith on deck. Torres winds with the pitch. That misses outside. Ball 3, 3-0. Torres has allowed 5 hits. He's walked 1. He struck out 3. He's leading for the first time, 5-3. 3-0 pitch to Russell, who's taking, and it's inside. Ball 4. So the second walk given up by Torres. He walked Say in the first inning, and the Dodgers made that pay off for 2 runs when Garvey followed with a 2-run triple down the right field line. Reggie Smith hammered his 3rd home run of the series with 2 out in the 3rd inning and nobody aboard. That gave the Dodgers a short-lived 3-2 lead. Yankees got 3 in the 4th. Ground ball to short. Dent's got it over to Randolph for 1. Back to first. Double play. A tailor-made one-hopper to Bucky Dent near the bag at second. He turns it into a 6-4-3 twin killing. The Dodgers are gone in the 5th, and at the end of 4 1/2 in Game 6. Yankees 5, Dodgers 3.
If you buy unleaded gasoline, you may have noticed that lead isn't the only thing missing. It's probably pretty low on performance, too. That's because most unleadeds just don't have a high enough octane rating to give you the performance you want, the performance you used to get from your regular. In fact, according to standards set by the American Society for Testing and Materials, the people who set gasoline standards used by the federal and state governments, very few unleaded gasolines have a high enough octane to be called regular. To help you choose between them, one usually sells for less. Getty. Getty Unleaded Regular gives you the clean-running engine you expect from an unleaded, plus the octane performance you want. And you pay less than you would for most other major unleadeds. Now think a minute. Why settle for an unleaded gasoline that's below regular when you can get one that's regular? Getty Unleaded Regular. Once again, we've got what's best for your car.
You're not a championship team, as the Dodgers have been in their play in the National League, and not have the ability to come back. There is one fact, however. They won it so easy, so quickly. Well, their mettle is certainly going to be tested now. And we're going to find out, Ross, what goes in the last of the 5th.
The double play by the Yankees was their first of the series. The Dodgers had the other 4. But that one was tailor-made. Dent to Randolph to Chambliss on the hot smash on 1 hop by Smith. Mickey Rivers, Willie Randolph, and then Thurman Munson here in the New York 5th inning. 5-3 Yankees. Elias Sosa in his 2nd inning of work goes to the windup of the pitch, and the ground ball up the middle, base hit. Mundy hurries in to get the ball. Rivers a long turnaround first. He'll hold on. So Rivers ends his 0-for-9 slump with his 5th hit of the series, and that is 26th at bat. And the Yankees have evened the hit totals at 5 apiece. 2 hits off Sosa. The other one was a blooper into left field, and Baker and Russell couldn't get together on it. It dropped. That led to a Yankee run, the 3rd of the 4th inning. Here's Randolph, who's 0-for-2. Sosa flips the ball over to Garvey, and Rivers back on the bag. The Dodgers notched 33 come from behind victories during the year. They'll have to do it tonight if they're to stay alive. Another throw to first base, and Rivers back in time. Yankees trying to win a world championship for the first time since 1962. The last time a New York team was a world champion was 8 years ago when the 1969 Mets did it. Dodgers haven't won one in a dozen years. Way back in 1965, they beat Minnesota in 7. Sosa ready, looks at Rivers. The pitch to Randolph, around the bunt, takes a called strike. 0-1.
And everybody on the baseball field in motion. Lopes towards first. The shortstop to cover the middle of the diamond. Say in.
Randolph fighting the slump at the moment. He's had 1 hit in his last 16 at-bats in this series. 4 for 23 overall. Sosa again to first base. Rivers back. Ross Porter and Win Elliot from Yankee Stadium, New York. Game 6 of the World Series. Yankees 5, Dodgers 3. New York trying to wrap it up tonight. Sosa ready. The pitch to Randolph. Around a bunt, does bunt. Yeager's got it. He's going to second base. To Russell. In time. They get the force on Rivers. The throw is on the right field side of the bag, but Russell kept his foot on it long enough, according to National League umpire Ed Sudol. And so they get the lead man, Rivers, and Randolph aboard on a fielder's choice. And that's about the 3rd time in this series win we've seen a Dodger catcher, the other 2 times being Jerry Grody, take a bunt and turn it into an out at second.
This was a little more difficult. On the bunts that Jerry Grody handled, they jumped right into his right hand, and he didn't have to waste any time. But this one, Yeager had to go out and gobble. And there was a question as to whether his throw, well, it was good enough. It didn't draw him off the base that quickly, and so they erased Rivers, but Randolph on first now is himself very fast.
Thurman Munson, an outstanding World Series hitter over the last 2 years, got his 17th hit in 2 years of series competition here tonight. And first thing Munson does is ask plate umpire John McSherry to look at the baseball Elias Sosa is using, and McSherry throws it out.
Had nothing to do with Sosa regardless. Thurman Munson asked for that ball to be looked at as a matter of habit.
Munson hitting .410 in the 1976 and 1977 World Series. 9 for 17 last year. Now 8 for 23 this year. 1 on, 1 out. Sosa stretches. The pitch to Thurman, a pitch out. Nothing in the works. Munson is shortened up. But it's ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Left-hander Doug Rao begins to throw in the Dodger bullpen. He pitched 1 inning plus in Game 4 in Los Angeles on Saturday. 5-3 New York. Bottom of the 5th inning. Willie Randolph leads away from first with 1 away. Here comes the 1-0 pitch to Thurman Munson. Breaking ball low, ball 2, 2-0. The Yankees tonight trying to make it 7 World Series championships over the Dodgers in their 9 meetings. Dodgers beat them only in 1955 while in Brooklyn, and in 1963 in Los Angeles. Sosa ready again. Good lead by Randolph, and deciding to go after him, Sosa tosses over to Garvey, too late.
This is a vital part of the game because the Dodgers trail by a not insurmountable 2 runs. But to let the scrappy Yankees get any more ahead of you would be a debilitating feeling.
Now the stretch by Sosa. Munson waiting. 2-0. The pitch. Broken bat looper to center field. Mundy coming up. He's got it. Randolph had gone 2/3 of the way, and he draws a throw at first base, but it gets back. So Munson cracked the bat and flied out to Mundy, and Thurman shaking his head as he goes back down the steps of the dugout. 2 away, and here's Reggie Jackson, who has walked, homered, and scored 2 of the Yankee 5 runs. And Jackson now, in World Series history, has 20 base hits and a .328 career average in the series, 1973, 1974, and this year. And his home run tonight was his 5th World Series home run. He now has 12 runs batted in and 14 runs scored. So when they start playing for the money, Reggie gets ready. Sosa again, a flip over to first base, and Randolph back. 2 out, a runner at first for New York in the bottom of the 5th. The Yankees 5, the Dodgers 3. When the Dodgers hit in the 6th, they'll send up Ron Cey, Steve Garvey, and Dusty Baker. Sosa set. The pitch. Drive to right field and deep. Way back. Going, gone. Another home run for Reggie Jackson. And the Yankees lead 7-3.
Lasorda is out to talk to his pitcher. And what can you say about Reggie Jackson? His second home run of the game. He was walked his first time up, which now, as a matter of hindsight, proves to be the best way to pitch to him. However, it backfired in that second inning when Chris Chambliss, right after him, hit the ball into the right field porch. In the fourth inning, Thurman Munson slashed a single to left field, and the Dodger pitching staff at that point, Bert Hooton, made a mistake and pitched to Jackson. And he hit a line drive some 15 feet high, about 340 feet into the right field stand. That gave the Yankees a 4-3 lead and unsettled the Dodgers to the point that on the next play, Chris Chambliss hoisted a high fly to left field. Russell and Baker got confused and let the ball drop. Chambliss was advanced to third, a ground ball to the right side, and then Lou Piniella, a long fly to left field, brought him home. When the Dodgers went down docilely in their half of the fifth, Mickey Rivers grounded a single into center field. He was forced at second as Willie Randolph attempted to bunt him along. Thurman Munson hit a liner, a soft one, a broken bat soft liner to center field, and then Reggie Jackson hit an almost duplicate blow. I was going to say an exact duplicate. That would be redundant, but our two home runs redundant when you do the same thing twice with the same result. A line drive to right field, about 15 feet high. Two more runs, and the Yankees now lead it 7-3 in the sixth, possibly deciding final game of the 1977 World Series.
In the first 5 games of the series win, the Yankees had hit 4 home runs, 2 of those by Reggie Jackson. And here tonight, they clocked 3 home runs in 5 innings, and Jackson has 2 of those. And as I look at the World Series record book, I believe that's a new record. Reggie Jackson's 4 home runs in a 6-game series. Babe Ruth had hit 3 home runs in a 6-game series in 1923. Ted Kluszewski had hit 3 for the White Sox in 1959. And Reggie Smith had hit his 3rd here tonight. But the 2 by Reggie Jackson, giving him 4. And if it's all over tonight, that would be a new World Series record. In fact, 4 is also the 7-game series record. So for a 6-game series, this would be it if it's over tonight. Doug Rowell picks up for Elias Sosa as the Yankees double their lead, and now it is 7-3 with 2 more here in the 5th inning. And the long ball has propelled New York to that margin. Chris Chambliss hit the first home run for the Yankees. That came in the 2nd inning with Jackson aboard and wiped out the Dodgers' early 2-0 lead. Chambliss up again. He's had a double in addition to his home run. So 3 home runs and a double, accounting for 4 of the 6 hits for the Yankees, and Rowell sends one inside off the chest of Chris Chambliss for a ball. 2 out, 2 over, 7-3 New York in the 5th. Rowell's pitch, low, ball 2, 2-0.
And anything you might say about Reggie Jackson that we have neglected to say up to now, it isn't necessary to say.
2 balls and no strikes to Chambliss. The pitch by Rowell gets the outside corner for a strike. Reggie now with 3 runs tonight. That gives him 9 runs in this 6-game series. He has been on base, and the Yankees have brought him around. Breaking ball hammered on 1 hop to Garvey behind the bag at first, and he'll take care of Chambliss. But the Yankees get 2 more runs on 2 hits. And at the end of 5 innings in Game 6, Yankees 7, Dodgers 3.
Whatever your occupation, here's something you should know about financing a new car or truck. If you're a teacher, farmer, or have any occupation with an unusual or seasonal pay schedule, you may encounter some problems when it comes to financing. Well, not with us. We're the Ford Motor Credit Company. We finance all Ford and Lincoln Mercury products, and we give special consideration to people who have unusual pay schedules. In fact, we'll try to work out a payment plan tailored just for you. So remember us when you buy a Ford, Mercury, or Lincoln car, Ford truck, tractor, or recreational vehicle. Ford Credit. We're as close as your neighborhood Ford or Lincoln Mercury dealer.
When you're buying or leasing a new car or truck, Ford Credit wants to give you credit for being you.
This time of the year, you often hear baseball fans saying, wait till next year. And while your favorite team is planning for that, you ought to order season tickets, because now is the best time and the best locations are available for your family or your business. So if you missed any of baseball's excitement this past season, act now and ensure choice seats for all the fun of 1978. And you'll find yourself saying, I just can't wait till next year. The preceding was brought to you on behalf of Major League Baseball. When Reggie Jackson ambled out to right field, his porch crowd rose in unison and greeted him. He took off his hat, and that was the signal for the first base side, just to the right of home plate and home plate. He got half the ballpark greeting him as he lifted his cap. This has been Reggie Jackson's night, and oh, how he must love it.
We go to the 6th inning at Yankee Stadium. New York 7, Los Angeles 3, and Ron Cey leads off for the Dodgers. He has walked and singled. Torres' first pitch is low for a ball, 1-0. The Dodgers have had runners in 4 of their first 5 at-bats. Only in the 2nd inning was Torres able to get them in order. There's ball 2, high to Cey, 2-0. 3 Yankee home runs, 2 by Reggie Jackson and 1 by Chris Chambliss, and the Yankees leading by 4. Cey takes ball 3, high, 3-0. Billy Martin had Sparky Lyle up earlier, and he's going back to the bullpen now to get somebody else up and throwing. And it looks like Sparky again. The 3-0 pitch to Ron Cey, a called strike, 3-1. Babe Ruth one time hit 3 home runs in a series game. In fact, he did it twice. There's a strike called to Ron Cey at the knees, 3-2. Ruth hit 3 home runs in a game in 1926, and again 3 in 1928 one night, or one day at that time. 3-2 pitch, got Cey swinging. So Mike Torres fell behind 3-0, and then fanned Ron Cey.
That was Mike's 4th strikeout of the night, and you can just see him swelling to his task with the help of those long blows that have put him 4 runs ahead. He's really on his game now.
Steve Garvey tripled in the Dodgers' first 2 runs in the opening inning. He flied to center, a deep drive his last time up. Garvey bunts, but it's foul back into the stands. So Garvey, who likes to lay the ball down and is a very adept bunter, popped that one back into the seats, and it's 0-1. Reggie Jackson's 9 runs in the 6 games would also be a new World Series record. Babe Ruth and somebody named Alvin Powell had 8 runs each in 2 6-game series. Ruth and Gehrig in separate years had 9 runs scored in only 4 games. That's hard to do.
Murderer's row.
The 0-1 pitch to Garvey. Popped up in the right field. Jackson coming up for it. Waiting. He's there now. He's got it 2 away. The Dodgers are down to their last 10 outs. Trailing 7-3 in the 6th inning. Here's Dusty Baker, who's been called out on strikes and flied to right field.
I remember a game in Philadelphia where they were down to their last out.
And 2 runs behind with nobody on base in the 9th inning. There's a called strike to Baker. So Torres, whose adrenaline pumping, as Win said, because of the Yankee offense, goes to work to Baker again. There's a drive to left field. Piniella going back for it. At the warning track, he'll have a play. Waiting. He got it. Baker out on a long fly to left. Torres gets the Dodgers in order in the 6th. And at the end of 5.5 innings, Yankees 7, Dodgers 3.
The words you are about to hear should always be thought of together. Indigestion.
Pepto-Bismol.
Indigestion.
Pepto-Bismol.
Indigestion.
Pepto-Bismol. It coats, soothes, relieves. For occasional use only as directed.
Now a brief update from CBS News.
This is Doug Poling reporting on the CBS Radio Network. Powerful explosions wrecked 3 showrooms for German-made automobiles in 2 northern Italian cities during the night. Anonymous callers said the bombs were planted in memory of 3 West German anarchists whose deaths in prison were announced on Tuesday. UN Secretary General Waldheim says there's a move to give immediate attention by the world body to the problem of terrorism and hostage-taking. That in reply to world airline pilots who are threatening to strike unless the UN acts to stop this type of violence. House and Senate conferees this afternoon opened a meeting to try to come up with a compromise energy bill. The effort met an immediate impasse, and the lawmakers will try again tomorrow. The House today approved funds to prevent the closing of small-town post offices and to keep the Saturday delivery of mail. Now back to the World Series game in New York. This is Doug Poling, CBS News.
7-3 Yankees, last half of the 6th inning, and the Yankee who had more home runs than anybody during the regular season, the third baseman Greg Nettles, who just made All-Star third baseman today. He's coming up against Doug Rao.
Nettles has hit a couple of ground balls to the right side tonight, 1 to Garvey, 1 to Lopes. 7 runs, 6 hits, 1 error for the Yankees, including 3 home runs. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. 1 home run. Breaking ball from Rao for a called strike to Nettles. Rao, who worked an inning on Saturday, goes to the windup, and the pitch is swung on a miss by Nettles. Strike 2, 0-2. The Dodgers scouting report said jam Reggie Jackson with hard stuff, a lot of fastballs. Well, it appeared tonight that both times Jackson hit fastballs and hit them over the wall in right field for home runs. Next pitch to Nettles is outside, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rao ready again, the 1-2 pitch. Grounded foul toward the Yankee dugout over on the first base side. Dodgers led 2-0. Yankees caught them. Dodgers led 3-2. Yankees went ahead 5-3 and 7-3. And that's where we are in the bottom of the 6th inning. Nettles waiting. Doug Rao winds, and the 1-2 pitch got him swinging on a hard fastball inside. It's the second strikeout by the 3 Dodger pitchers. Hooten had struck out Mike Torres. Here's Lou Piniella. Piniella 0 for 1 tonight. A sacrifice fly his last time up after a pop fly to right. But Piniella made a defensive play in this ball game in the 4th inning, which really helped the Yankees out. They were trailing at the time 3-2. Piniella hits a foul out of play along the right field line back into the second deck. With Monday at first and 1 out in the Dodger 4th, Yeager hit a smash off the box seats halfway down the left field line, but it ricocheted back to Piniella. Monday went to 3rd, but Piniella went after Yeager and nipped him at 2nd. And the Dodgers' potential big inning was thwarted. Pitches inside to Piniella for a ball, 1-1. The Texan delivers. There's a drive by Piniella to center field. Monday turns, goes back. He's there now in front of the warning track to make the catch. 2 away. Bucky Dent has bounced out and walked tonight.
I don't imagine it'll make the Dodger rooters feel any better, but Baker's fly ball to left field that ended the previous half for the Dodgers would have been a home run in right field. That Piniella smash, had it gone to right field instead of center, it would have been a home run.
Dent waits for Rao's pitch, which is high and away for a ball, 1-0. When the Dodgers bat in the 7th inning, they'll send up Rick Monday, Steve Yeager, and a hitter for Doug Rao. So the Dodgers have somebody else up in the bullpen in right field. It looks like Charlie Huff. Dent sends a fly ball down the left field line. That's going to be foul. Baker coming over, and it'll go back out of play.
Ross, it is Huff.
1 ball and 1 strike to Bucky Dent. Charlie Huff pitched well in Los Angeles in Game 3 of the series when he took over from Tommy John and pitched 3 hitless innings. Or he gave him 1 hit, no runs in 3 innings. Dent waits for Rao's 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2, 1-2. The Dodgers have been in an incredible amount of their games this year. They've been out of contention in only 6 of the 171 games they have played. There's a ball low in the dirt to Dent, 2-2. So when they are behind by 4 runs, it's very unusual. They were routed one day in Pittsburgh this year, 11-4. Lost a couple of other games by 5 runs or 6. There's a ground ball to the left side. Russell comes in, gloves it, one-handed, throws. In time, just in time. Garvey had to dig it out on a hop, and they get Bucky Dent. Yankees go in order, but at the end of 6, in Game 6, New York 7, Los Angeles 3.
I was really up in the air about what kind of a car to buy. I wanted a compact for the economy and maneuverability, but I wanted a car with luxury, too. Well, I not only got one, I got it for a lot less than I expected. Because now I drive a 1978 AMC Concorde DL 2-door sedan. The Concorde DL is an all-new model this year, and it's a beauty. It has a Landau vinyl roof with opera windows, crushed velour interior with individual reclining seats, white wall tires with color-keyed wheel covers, wood-grained instrument panel, and a lot more, all standard. Sure, other compacts offer those features, but why pay extra when you can get them all standard? That's not all. I also get the protection of AMC's Buyer Protection Plan and Concorde DL's Smooth, Quiet Ride. I guess Concorde DL is exactly what they say. The luxury Americans want, the size America needs.
See the new Concorde DL now at your nearby AMC dealers.
Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the CBS Radio Network.
WCBS, New York.
And so we go to the top of the 7th with the Dodgers trailing before, but let's remind ourselves that the Yankees' 4 runs that they lead by were swift in coming. Reggie Jackson, a home run in the 3rd and another one in the 4th, each time with a man aboard. A miscue by the Dodgers, although it won't go as an error, and a sacrifice fly, and that's how the Yankees are in the lead. So with one swing of the bat, the complexion can turn immediately. We go to the top of the 7th. Had this been Los Angeles, it would be followed by 2 choruses, "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Let's see how the Dodgers react in the 7th inning.
Rick Monday will lead off for the Dodgers. He has bounced out in single tonight. Monday 2 for 9 in the series. Now 1 for 6 against Mike Torres. The first one to Monday, a ground ball to the right side. Willie Randolph plugs the gap, fields it, throws to Chambliss, 1 away. So the Dodgers first ball hitting frequently tonight against Mike Torres. And Monday makes the first out of the 7th inning. Steve Yeager got the last Dodger hit. That was the ball that he shot off the box seats on a hop along the left field line in the 4th inning, and then was thrown out on a great peg by Lou Piniella to second base. Since then, the Dodgers have had only 1 runner, Russell, who walked in the 5th and was doubled up on Smith's ground ball. Yeager swings and misses.
Again, the first ball, but in all honesty, Mike has only walked 2 people tonight.
Torres is fanned 4. He's allowed 5 hits. He's leading 7-3 in the 7th inning. The next one to the Dodger catcher is low for a ball, 1-1. The Dodgers, to show you what they've done, have surrendered 7 or more runs now in 24 games this year. And before tonight, they had lost 19 of the other 23 when they gave up that many. Ground ball right back to the pitcher. Torres grabs it and throws out Yeager. So that's twice tonight that Torres has helped himself with the glove. He got Lopes in the 3rd inning, and now Yeager for the 2nd out in the 7th. And the Dodgers are down to their last 7 outs as Ed Goodson comes out to hit for Doug Rao.
I don't know whether Billy senses that Torres is tiring or lost his stuff. He's had Sparky Lyle up in the bullpen, and now Billy is out at the pitcher's mound discussing Torres, both with Mike and catcher Thurman Munson, and the third baseman Greg Nettles is over there. I suspect Billy's not going to take the slightest bit of chance. He's back to the dugout. Lyle is still working in the bullpen, and Mike Torres is still on the mound.
Ed Goodson, a left-handed hitter, used as a pinch hitter by the Dodgers this year, takes a called strike from Mike Torres. This is the first time Goodson has batted in the World Series. The next one from Torres is a ground ball foul up along first base, and so quickly Torres jumps ahead, 0-2 to Ed Goodson. Seven to 3 Yankees in the 7th inning of Game 6. Torres's pitch, low for a ball, 1-2 to Goodson. Two out, nobody aboard. Torres ready. The 1-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Torres has now retired the last 7 Dodgers to face him since the walk to Russell. And at the end of 6.5 innings in Game 6, Yankees 7, Dodgers 3.
Take your contact. Take it now. Give your call to contact.
Can your cold medicine fight the congestion, shrink the swollen membranes, help relieve the runny, sneezy, cloggy misery caused by every known cold virus? Are you sure? Contact can. Today's Contact does all that up to 12 hours, all day, all night, no matter what cold virus attacks. That's the wonder of Contact.
Give your call to contact.
Take only as directed.
So the New York Yankee Stadium crowd, taking a leaf from the songbook of the Los Angeles fans, is now doing Take Me Out to the Ball Game themselves. A little disorganized, somewhat cacophonous, in fact, and no substitution of it's go, go, go the Yankees. Let's take this moment while we may to recognize and to thank all the folks who've helped in this broadcast. That means the secretaries, operations personnel, the technical people, both in New York and Los Angeles. Boy, you've been so much help to Ross and Bill and Mr. Kiner and Mr. Coleman out there in San Diego. We want to thank you. We're proud of your efforts, and we want everybody to know you. Thanks again, boys and girls. We're down to the last half of the 7th in this kind of a holiday spirit. Now, I don't know whether it's premature. You've seen any number of ball games blow up in the 8th inning and the 9th inning, but right now, you're going to have a hard time convincing the Yankee fans here that their Yankees are not going to be the world's champions in 1977. Right now, they hold a lead of 7-3, and they're going to face a new Dodger pitcher, Charlie Huff, the knuckleball specialist. The Dodgers got out front in the first inning, bang, bang, 2-0. But the Yanks came back in the second inning. A 2-run Chris Chambliss home run tied it up. Then Reggie Smith hit one into the right field porch in the third inning to give the Dodgers a 3-2 lead, but that was the last time. Reggie Jackson, a 2-run homer in the fourth inning. A misplay in left field and eventually a sacrifice fly made it another run in that fifth inning, or rather the fourth inning for the Yankees. And then, would you believe it, again, a 2-run home run by Reggie Jackson in the fifth inning. And we are now where we are, 7-3, New York Yankees, last half of the 7th. And the big guy from Topeka, Kansas, already 9 innings, a winner, bids fair to go the route again, Mike Torres.
Torres gets a standing ovation as he comes to the plate to lead off for New York at the bottom of the 7th inning. He'll face knuckleballer Charlie Huff. Torres has struck out and bounced out tonight. Mike taps one foul behind the plate. Huff, in his 3 scoreless innings of relief in Los Angeles in Game 3 Friday night, allowed only a base hit, a single to Mickey Rivers in the 9th inning. Torres holds up on a knuckleball outside, 1-1. Huff, this year for the Dodgers, won 6 games, saved 22 others. He was instrumental in the Dodgers' fast getaway in April and May. 1-1 pitch. Knuckleball swung on a miss. Strike 2, 1-2. Reggie Jackson was the most valuable player of the 1973 World Series, and he might very well be the MVP in 1977, the way things are going. Torres swings and misses, striking out on a dancer from Charlie Huff. But the fans applaud him anyway as he goes back to take a seat.
Mike, if Reggie isn't the guy who's going back to the dugout, Mike Torres, who bids fair to have pitched 2 and 1-2 complete games without a contract. It's going to be pretty hard to talk to Mike after this is over, as he hasn't signed, and he is a 2-game winner in the series. Wow.
And he led the Yankee staff in victories, winning with 17. Rivers takes a knuckleball outside. The ball bounces behind the plate, 1-0. Torres, of course, also had the most starts for the Yankees this year, the most complete games with 17, the most innings pitched, 244. So he was a big cog in the wheel. Knuckleball from Huff is outside to Rivers, ball 2, 2-0. If you're not keeping score with us, when the Dodgers come up in the 8th, they'll have Lopes, Russell, and Smith to face Mike Torres. Huff's 2-0 pitch. Line drive, base hit by Rivers. Into the right field corner. Smith over to get it. Rivers around first. He'll hold as Smith gets it back in a hurry. And Mickey Rivers has got his 2nd straight hit, his 6th of the series. A 1-out single here in the 7th inning. That's the Yankees' 7th hit. Dodgers have 5. Willie Randolph is 0 for 3 tonight. He tried to bunt Rivers to second base in the 5th inning. Wound up a force out at second, but Randolph scored when Reggie Jackson powered his 2nd home run of the game into the right field seats. Huff stretches. The pitch. Knuckleball. Strike. Pops out of Yeager's glove, rolls in front of the plate, but he's out to get it. 0-1. Another welcome tonight to all of our military personnel around the world on American Forces Radio. Hope you're enjoying our account. Ross Porter with Win Elliot from New York. Game 6, the Yankees trying to sew up their first World Championship since 1962. And they're 4 runs ahead in the bottom of the 7th inning. Huff throws to first, Rivers back. Rivers stole a base off Huff in the 9th inning of Game 3 after he singled, but he was left at second. Randolph taps it foul behind the plate, lunging for a knuckleball, 0-2. The Yankees don't see that many knuckleballers during the American League campaign. Of course, Wilbur Wood from the White Sox will throw that dancer up there.
You don't see much of a knuckleball anyway.
Well, the Negro boys in the National League have got it down pretty well, Joe and Phil. But you're right, there are not that many around. Randolph waiting 0-2, 1 out, 1 on, 7-3 New York. Knuckleball high and inside, and Randolph leans out of the way of it. Lance Rotson, a left-hander, begins to throw in the Dodger bullpen. Yankees trailed 2-0, caught up at 2, fell behind 3-2, led 5-3, and now 7-3. The pitch to Randolph, got him swinging. Knuckleball, wait a minute, did he foul it out of the glove? Apparently so. So Randolph's still alive. Yeager couldn't hold on to it. Chased a high knuckler, but got just enough of it on the bat to tip it off. So it's 1-2. Now the stretch by Charlie Huff. He looks at Rivers and now backs off the mound. Huff was about through as a pitcher when a scout for the Dodgers named Goldie Holt taught him how to throw the knuckleball. There's a high outside pitch. They thought maybe Rivers was going. A pitch out, and it's 2-2. Here in the 7th, Torres struck out, but Rivers singled. Now Randolph waiting 2-2. The pitch. Knuckleball foul back off Yeager's right shoulder. The count is still even 2-2. The long ball has been the Yankee power story tonight. 2-run homer by Chambliss in the 2nd inning. 2-run homer by Jackson in the 4th. 2-run homer by Jackson in the 5th. So the 3 long shots have accounted for 6 of the 7 New York runs. There goes Rivers. Randolph bounces one to say, looks at second, but his only play is to Garvey. They get Randolph, and Rivers moves up 90 feet to second base. So by sending Rivers, the Yankees stayed out of a double play. And here's Thurman Munson coming up. Munson has a single tonight and 3 at-bats. Thurman with 8 hits in this year's series. Reggie Jackson has 8 for the Yankees in the 6 games. Steve Garvey has 8 for the Dodgers.
And you get the feeling that this stadium crowd already is consigning the games to the world's champions, and they're saluting their heroes, giving them their accolades as they come to bat.
Charlie Huff looks at Rivers, deals to Munson. The ball is tapped off of Munson's foot at the plate, foul. And Yeager goes out to help his fellow catcher up. They're friends. They had dinner together in Los Angeles the other night after one of the series games. So the catcher's fraternity had a little meeting.
And Yeager's looking over to the Yankee dugout where Big Cliff Johnson, another catcher, is giving him the business. And they're both grinning at each other.
Munson digging a toe hold in from the right side. Rivers, the runner at second for the Yankees here in the bottom of the 7th inning. New York 7, Los Angeles 3. 2 out. Huff at the belt. And now balloons come out on the field, and Huff steps back. So we got a yellow balloon in front of the plate, a green balloon making its way up toward the first base bag. John McSherry goes out to get the yellow balloon. Yankee bat boy gets the green one. At least they're not throwing things tonight, Win, just balloons.
Yeah. Well, the mood's a little different.
All is well with the world right now for the Yankee fans. They're 4 runs ahead. Munson swings and misses. And a knuckleball from Huff, 0-2. He's got a good one. Charlie Huff came under a lot of criticism in Los Angeles this year, and much of it was unjust. Charlie Huff had hurt his arm, being overworked, and the fans didn't know it. And as a result, he started coming 3/4 instead over the top. There's a pitch high to Munson, 2-2. Lasorda was going to rest Huff early in July, but then Mike Garman pulled a hamstring muscle, and Garman couldn't go in the bullpen, so he had to stay with Huff, and it was then that Huff hurt the shoulder, altered his delivery, and the opposing batter started to rock him. 2-2 pitch. Swung on a miss. Ball gets away from Yeager, but not far enough, and the throw down to Garvey retires Munson after the strikeout. So no runs, 1 hit, 1 left. Huff gets 2 strikeouts. But at the end of 7 innings in Game 6, it's still the Yankees 7 and the Dodgers 3.
Someday you'll own. Someday you'll own. Sooner or later you'll own General's.
Don't buy tires until you visit your General Tire headquarters. You'll find a tire that's right for you and a price that's set for today's budgets. Choose from steel-belted radials, glass-belted, polyester cord, and economical 4-ply nylon cord tires. Or go with a sporty look of wide letter whites. They all incorporate General's 62 years of tire building know-how. Quality, choice, price. General has the tire for you. Check your yellow pages for the General Tire headquarters nearest you.
Sooner or later you'll own General's. Sooner or later you'll own General's.
Mike Torres out on the mound, warming up as we go into the top of the 8th, with Mike and his Yankees holding a 7-3 lead. Mike has occasionally struggled in this game, but whenever he had to dig down and get it, like the ball players say, he did. It cost him in the first inning. Wasn't really his fault. 2 out, a ground ball to short, mishandled by Bucky Dent, and then trouble. Steve Garvey, a triple down the line, drove in not only Reggie Smith, so
Torres in the series. The first pitch a called strike. Mike Torres pitched 88 pitches in the first 7 innings. We told you he threw 133 the last outing. Lopes, a ground ball base hit up the middle to the left of Dent in the center field. So Lopes collects the Dodgers' 6th hit. And the speedy second baseman is aboard, and Billy Martin had Sparky Lyle up and throwing before Mike Torres ever went to the mound here in the 8th inning.
Sparky has not appeared in the last 4 games, possibly the entire series.
We haven't seen him since game 1.
Well, he did throw an inning.
He threw an inning, that's right. Garvey hit the home run off of him in the 9th inning, right, 6 days ago. Here's Russell, who's 0 for 2 plus a walk tonight. Torres goes to first and Lopes back. Mike Torres served up 21 pitches in the first inning, 6 in the second, 19 in the third, then 13, 9, 12, and 8. Russell takes inside on the corner for a strike, 0-1. The Dodgers need base runners. They got the big guns coming up, but they're 4 runs behind. Lopes with a leadoff single here in the Los Angeles 8th inning. Torres is ready. The pitch to Russell. Takes outside for a ball, 1-1.
A word about Lyle. He's always maintained that he pitches best when he pitches most often. The time off he's had for Sparky is almost a sabbatical. I wonder what his touch will be like if he comes in.
The pitch to Russell. Did he go around? Yes, he did, said John McSherry. Couldn't check his swing on a high inside pitch, and Russell's behind, 1-2. 23 times this year the Dodgers scored 5 or more runs in an inning. Well, they need 5 right now to go ahead, and it's the 8th inning, and they're running out of time. Torres is ready, the 1-2 pitch, outside, 2-2. 27 times this year the Dodgers batted around, and in almost half of their games they scored 5 or more runs. So they have the offensive capabilities, but they're going to need them now in a hurry. The stretch, the 2-2 pitch to Russell, outside, ball 3, 3-2. And it could be, Win, if Torres walks Russell, he's gone.
Martin is on his feet.
Reggie Smith on deck. 7-3 Yankees. Nobody out in the 8th, and Lopes away from first. Doubtful he will run on this pitch. The 3-2 to Russell. Line drive to right field, but it's going to hang up long enough for Jackson to make a one-handed catch over his head. So Russell went the other way, but not far enough, and Jackson had enough room to stretch high and glove it. 1 away in the Dodger 8th inning, and the Yankees are 5 outs away from their first world title in 15 years.
And here's their big gun, the guy who already has a homer in this game, 3 on the series, Reggie Smith.
Smith has scored 2 of the Dodgers' 3 runs tonight. Safe on an error and scored in the first, homered in the third, didn't do a double play his last time up. And Smith takes inside from Mike Torres for a ball. Torres making his 14th career appearance against the Dodgers. 13 of those with the Cardinals and Expos. He's been 2-5 against them over the years, but tonight he's ahead. There's a fastball for a called strike to Smith, leveling the count at 1 ball and 1 strike.
The other day in Los Angeles, Lopes with the Dodgers behind attempted to steal and was snuffed out. I don't think he'll do it tonight.
Not 4 runs behind. Now the stretch, the pitch to Reggie. Low inside. Ball 2, 2-1. Ron Say on deck. Steve Garvey to follow. The Dodgers bringing their big thunder up for maybe the last time this year. 2 balls and a strike to Smith. Mike Torres stretches, looks at Lopes. The pitch. Pop fouled out of play. Behind the plate, 2 balls and 2 strikes. If the Dodgers lose tonight, they will fly home immediately after the game, and they'll be back in Los Angeles sometime between 3:30 and 4 o'clock in the morning, West Coast time. And the celebration would still be going on in New York about that time, I'm sure, if the Yankees win. 2-2 pitch to Smith. Ground ball to first. Chambliss gloves it. Down to the shortstop covering for 1. Back to first. Double play. For the second straight time, Reggie Smith grounds into a double play. Chambliss made it look easy. 3-6-3. The Dodgers turned away with 1 hit in the 8th inning, and the Yankees are 3 outs away from a world championship. At the end of 7.5 innings, Yankees 7, Dodgers 3.
While the Yankees are coming up to bat, I'd like to take this opportunity to tell you about something I know all of you'd enjoy along with the game tonight. And that's new Mellow Roast coffee and grain beverage. Mellow Roast starts with 3 kinds of rich, robust coffees and then blends in roasted grain to take away the bitter edge. So you enjoy full-flavored coffee taste without the bitterness. And with all that going for it, new Mellow Roast is sure to be a hit. Pick up some Mellow Roast at your supermarket today. It's new from General Foods.
And now a commercial from the makers of Bayer Aspirin.
In Washington, the Food and Drug Administration released important news about aspirin and aspirin substitutes. The news release reports that a panel of medical experts, in one of their findings, found no basis for the claim that aspirin substitutes are safer than aspirin.
That's right. Aspirin substitutes were not found safer than aspirin. When you want relief, get Bayer Aspirin. Bayer has relieved more pain than any medication in history. Use only as directed.
And wouldn't you know it, first up to bat for the New York Yankees in this last half of the 8th, Reggie Jackson. In the series, he scored 9, driven in, 7? Earlier in this series, Reggie said about his manager and the strife they've known that Billy Martin deserved the Nobel Peace Prize for keeping the peace.
Well, this is a hand for Reggie Jackson, Win.
I wouldn't have guessed it. Since Nobel was the scientist who invented or discovered dynamite, perhaps part of that prize should go to Reggie Jackson.
Jackson with 4 runs batted in and sends a fly ball to center field and deep. That's going to be way back, and that's going to be gone. Reggie Jackson has hit his 3rd home run of the game. Reggie Jackson becomes the 2nd man in World Series history to hit 3 home runs in a game. We told you earlier Babe Ruth did it on 2 occasions, in 1926 and in 1928. And Jackson just crunched one over the center field wall. That must have been 440 feet or more away, and they want Jackson to come out and take a bow with the Yankees leading 8-3 in the 8th inning. And Reggie Jackson with 3 home runs and 5 RBIs, and there he is. Takes his hat off, waves his acknowledgement to the Yankee fans, says thank you very much. What a performance tonight by Reggie Jackson, who has been in the center of controversy with the Yankees all year long.
I don't know, there isn't anything to say, or at least it's beyond me. The championship of heroics, Reggie Jackson. $3 million to get him here. He has often said he doesn't want to come back here. I don't believe it for 1 second. I never have. Reggie Jackson could have had more money by going to Montreal. He could have had more money probably going to 3 other places. But he came here because this is where the newsmakers are. And Reggie has made it good and or bad, and that's what he wanted. And in this 6th and obviously deciding game of the World Series, Reggie just took charge. 3 home runs to back up Mike Torres pitching.
Here's Chris Chambliss taking a knuckleball from Huff for a ball. So Reggie Jackson with 5 home runs in this year's World Series, and 3 of them in Game 6. All kinds of records. 4 runs scored tonight by Reggie Jackson. 10 runs scored in the series in 6 games by Reggie. Knuckleball loaded Chambliss, ball 2. Huff is ready. The next pitch. Ground ball to the right side. Lopes over to his left to glove it. Turns and throws to Garvey for the out. But the fans still buzzing over the spectacular performance tonight of Reggie Jackson. You know, we told you he was the MVP in the 1973 World Series with Oakland. You know how many home runs he hit in that World Series? 1.
I want to tell you that last home run he hit, we didn't get around to telling you about it. It was almost dead center. That's no man's land. It must have been 450 feet.
Here's Greg Nettles, who's 0 for 3 tonight. 8-3 New York. Nettles grounds it foul outside of first. So these New Yorkers ready to erupt. 3 outs away from a world championship. Jackson's had 9 hits in the series and 5 have been home runs. Knuckleball and Nettles low and inside, 1-1.
And it's we're number 1 from all sides of Yankee Stadium. As far as the crowd is concerned, the game is over. It's time to celebrate.
More on Reggie Jackson. He's now hitting .450 in this series, 9 for 20. Pitch to Nettles, swung on and missed, 1-2. He scored 10 runs. He's had 9 hits, a double, 5 home runs, and 8 runs batted in. 5 of those tonight. They can give him the car right now for the MVP. Knuckleball inside, called strike 3 on the corner, and Nettles is out. That's Huff's 3rd strikeout. But the Yankees have opened up a 5-run cushion to take to the 9th inning.
I guess if anybody's happier than Reggie, and I doubt that anybody is at the moment, it's the owner of the New York Yankees, or the principal owner, George Steinbrenner, who's been in the midst of this all the way through, but vindication tonight.
Knuckleball to Lou Pinella's inside for ball, 1-0. There are going to be a lot of people claim, Win, that George Steinbrenner bought a world championship. But this ball club really gelled this year here in New York. Knuckleball outside, 2-0.
Well, they had a magnificent season last year and then fell apart in the World Series. This year, they didn't clinch until they were sitting in the dressing room while it was raining outside the day before, but they've done it in the series.
The 2-0 pitch to Pinella's bounced foul over toward the Dodger dugout. When the Dodgers bat in the 9th, their last hopes will rest on the shoulders of Ron Cey, Steve Garvey, and Dusty Baker.
I think it's fair to say about the Yankee organization, too, and we'll say it after this pitch.
Pinella loops it foul back on the stand, in the stands behind home plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Beyond the purchases by Mr. Steinbrenner, the first, second, short, third baseman, left fielder, center fielder were all trades. The right fielder was a free agent. The catcher grew up in the organization.
Pinella pops one back of first. Garvey going back to get it, straddling the line in foul territory, makes the catch. But the Yankees get another run on 1 hit. Reggie Jackson's 3rd home run of the night. And they're on their feet as Jackson races out the right field. At the end of 8 innings in Game 6, Yankees 8, Dodgers 3.
You hear that for Reggie Jackson going to right field? Takes off his hat, salutes his fans, even as they salute him. Go, 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 Reggie, in one of the most spectacular World Series performances in history. Reggie Jackson, adored at the moment, occasionally abhorred, but currently adored, and what a way to end a season. Oh, boy. You can read all about Reggie, of course, in the 1977 World Series program that's being sold at the ballpark right now. It's 80 pages. There are color features on everybody that's been in the postseason's play. You can find it on selected newsstands, or you can order your copy now by sending a check or money order, $2.50 to World Series Program, Post Office Box 666, San Francisco, California, 94101. The proceeding has been brought to you on behalf of Major League Baseball. And talking about the biggies, remember the Super Bowl, Sunday, January 15th, right here. All the play-by-play action from New Orleans on most of these CBS Radio network stations. And it's the top of the 9th. The Los Angeles Dodgers, after a fantastic season, one of the fastest getaways in the history of baseball. Great play by almost all their players. Ronnie Cey, those 29 RBIs in the month of April. The most magnificent comeback by left-hander Tommy John. Steve Garvey, the shortstop. They've had a great year, and it looks like it's now down to the last 3 outs, Ross.
Well, Win, you're certainly right on those comments about this Dodger ball club. It was good enough to win 103 games this year. And certainly the fans in Southern California and around the country are proud of this Dodger ball club. They've come a long way in 1 year. Ron Cey takes a called strike from Mike Torres as we go to the 9th inning. That was Torres's 102nd pitch of the evening. The next one to say, low for a ball, 1-1. 8 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Yankees. But 3 of those hits were home runs by Reggie Jackson, and another was a home run by Chris Chambliss. Half of their hits have been home runs. Say bloops 1 foul. It'll be out of play, although Greg Nettles goes over, takes a look, it lands back along the left field line. 1-2 to Ron Say, who broke his bat and will have to get a new one. So the Yankees won game 1 in 12 innings. The Dodgers came back here on Hooten's 5-hitter. And then perhaps the big surprise of the entire Fall Classic, the Yankees' ability to win 2 straight in Los Angeles put the pressure on the Dodgers. L.A. came back in game 5, but tonight the Yankees equal to the challenge. And 4 home runs have given them the lead. The pitch to Say misses for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Not many people figured the Yankees could take 2 out of 3 at Dodger Stadium, but they did it Friday and Saturday. The pitch to Say hit foul back upstairs again. Outstanding pitching on Friday by Mike Torres and on Saturday by Ron Guidry. Gave the Yankees the 3-1 lead in the series. The Dodgers kept it alive Sunday, but tonight too much power here at Yankee Stadium, mostly supplied by Mr. Reggie Jackson. 2-2 pitch to Say. Strike 3 call. 6 strikeouts for Mike Torres. 1 away in the 9th inning. Here's Garvey.
Ross, I think you put your finger on it. The big surprise and the gilt-edge pitching and the Yankee staff that came into this series wounded, severely wounded. Gullett, Hunter, Torres had a bad shoulder. Figueroa had a bad finger. Nobody knew that Mike would pitch 2 games such as he has, that Gullett would win that first game.
Garvey grounds one to the left side. Buckied in, takes the big hop, almost falls down, throws to Chambliss, not in time. American League umpire Nestor Shylock on top of the play. He saw Chris Chambliss do the splits, but Dent had slipped as he tried to station himself and get something on the throw. Bucky almost did it, but Garvey legs it out for his 9th hit of the series. The Dodgers have a runner with 1 away in the 9th inning, and here comes Dusty Baker.
And it was the Yankee pitching, because until tonight, the Yankee power did not show itself overpowering.
First pitch to Baker, a ball, 1-0. Garvey's hit is only the 2nd hit by the Dodgers since the 4th inning. Lopes got a leadoff single in the 8th, but he was erased on a double play. Torres to the stretch. The pitch to Dusty. Line drive, base hit left field. Garvey to second and holding, and the Dodgers have 2 aboard, and they're not through yet. They're going to go down fighting if they're going to go down. Baker with his 7th hit of the series has 8 hits off Torres. Lyle has been throwing a ball game in itself in the Yankee bullpen, and he's back out there again. But now with a 5-run lead, Billy Martin knows that even a grand slam homer cannot get the Dodgers even, so he's going to stay with Torres to at least face Rick Monday. Monday has a single and 3 at-bats. Garvey at second, Baker at first. Torres stretches, the pitch, swing and a miss. Reggie Jackson, 3 home runs tonight. Only Babe Ruth ever did that before in a World Series game. And you're joining some pretty elite company when you go with the Bambino. 5 homers in the series, another record for Reggie Jackson. Monday's going to bunt, leaves it foul in Munson's glove, strike 2. Not a bad thought by Rick Monday, because the Dodgers got to get some people on base.
How about that? Like Vic Davalillo did in that game in Philadelphia, game number 4. The Dodgers are not giving up. They trail by 5. They have 2 on.
0-2 the count. Mike Torres to the stretch. The pitch to Monday. Bounce foul behind the plate. Monday playing for his 11th manager in 12 years. Tommy Lasorda missed 44 games this year with back problems.
11 out of 12. Never on Monday, huh?
Surprisingly, he's hit a lot of his home runs on Monday. 2 on, 1 out, 9th inning, 8-3 Yankees. Torres goes to the stretch. The 0-2 pitch to Monday. Foul back. The Dodgers have left 3 men on base tonight. The Yankees only 2. The home runs have helped clear the sacks. 4 home runs by New York, 3 by Jackson, 1 by Chambliss. 1 home run for Los Angeles by Smith. Garvey away from second, Baker from first, and Monday steps out as Torres takes a little too much time. Now the stretch. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Low, 1-2. Steve Yeager on deck. The Yankees looking for the double play that could give them their first world title in 15 years. Hard to believe it's been 1962 since they last bagged one. Torres set, the 1-2 pitch. Low, ball 2. Monday had to have a good eye to look at that one. 2-2. The Yankees went ahead tonight in the 4th inning with 3 runs. That made it 5-3. They got 2 in the 5th and 1 in the 8th on 2 more home runs by Reggie Jackson. And it's 8-3 in the 9th. Chambliss comes in from first base to talk to Torres. Monday waiting, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 8 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Yankees. 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. Torres is set, checks his runners, the 2-2 pitch. There's a fly ball to right field and deep. Reggie Smith, though, may have a play. He's on the warning track in front of the wall. He's got it, 2 away. Garvey tags up and moves over to third base. Baker stays at first. And by a matter of maybe 10 feet or less, Rick Monday misses a 3-run homer that would have gotten the Dodgers right back into the ball game at 8-6. But now 2 away. And Vic Davalillo is going to hit for Steve Yeager as the Dodgers are down to their last out of the season.
And to see to it that Yankee Stadium will stay a viable stadium if this game should end on the next out. There are now at least 50 policemen on each foul line, or approximately, stretched out around the box seats. They're going to try to get out there to restrain what in a moment probably will be, well, you used the word before, Ross, an eruption. The right field porch, they're all sitting on the top of the stands. And it's going to be a race to see whether the policemen can get out there first or whether the fans can drop down onto the field first. We're down to the last out. There's 2 on. Vic Davalillo to pinch hit, and Mike Torres trying to wind it up for his second 9-inning full-game series win.
Davalillo, who spent much of the year in the Mexican League, waiting from the left side. He bunts down to third. Good bunt. Nettles, barehand pickup, throw to the plate, not in time. Garvey scores. It's 8-4. Baker at second, Davalillo at first with another one of those drag bunts that he does so well. That one down to the third base line, good for an RBI. The Dodgers are down now 8-4 with Lopes coming up, or maybe Lee Lacy. I'm sorry, Lee Lacy's going to hit for the pitcher first, and then Lopes if they get that far. So, the wily Vic Davalillo, who many people say is at least 41 years old, a man the Dodgers acquired from the Mexican League for $2,500 in August, keeps them alive in the 9th inning. Billy Martin on his way out to talk to Torres with Lacy due up.
I think that's going to be it for Mike. I'm not sure. Nope. Billy's going to let him stay. There is now 4 runs difference. There's 2 on. Lacy at bat. Should he get on, it would bring the tying run to the plate. And Vic Davalillo, as he did in Philadelphia, with one difference. In Philadelphia, he dragged one down the first base line. Here, he punched one down the third base line. The idea was to get on, and he did. Firecrackers explode in right field. And Reggie Jackson comes in from the right field. I don't know whether he got hit. Oh, he's going to get a helmet, I'm told. I don't blame him. Reggie Jackson for the final out, with some of the overzealous fans in right field throwing firecrackers on the field. Reggie has come in for the protection of his batting helmet. The police are out in the right center field area, swinging their clubs above their heads, trying to keep the fans off the edges, trying to keep them from jumping into the area when the game is over. And we see that they've just grabbed one, brought him into the dugout. I understand, too, that anybody who is caught on the field will spend an equal amount of time in the jug. Now Reggie has come to the dugout. He has his batting helmet. And now he's heading back to the field of battle, the field of play in right field.
For repeating this announcement,
And the announcement goes again on the public address system. Please control yourself. Don't throw things on the field, including yourself.
Lee Lacy comes out to hit now for Charlie Huff. 2 out, 9th inning, a run over for the Dodgers. Baker at second, Davalillo with a bunt single at first base. Torres to the stretch, and the pitch to Lacy. Outside for a ball. Lacy got the pinch single here in the 9th inning of game 1 off Sparky Lyle, which got the Dodgers even. Torres is ready. The 1-0 pitch. Called strike. 1-1. The Dodgers need to get Lacy on to get the tying run to the plate. They're 4 down. Torres, who's pitched the 9-hitter, stretches, deals. Bunt, popped up. Torres has got it, and the Yankees are the world champions for the 21st time, and for the first time in 15 years. Lee Lacy tried to bunt his way on. He popped it up. It was caught by Mike Torres, and New York wins 8-4 over Los Angeles and takes the world championship 4 games to 2. The first time in 18 years that a World Series was completed in 6 games, and the Yankees have done it, beating the Dodgers. The final totals, the Yankees 8 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. The Dodgers 4 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. The fans are swarming onto Yankee Stadium. And now this is Ross Porter turning it over to Win Elliot. I enjoyed working with you, Win.
Me too, Ross. It would have taken 2,000 cops to keep the ants. It looks like an anthill down there. The kids have come from every section of the stand. We will be back, I hope, in a minute.
When do you say Budweiser? When do you say Bud?
When do you say Budweiser? Is it whenever the moment's right for a great beer?
That's when we say it. When do you say Budweiser? Is it whenever the good times move into right here?
That's Bud. Hey, after the work is done, while you're still having fun, anytime's the right time to say it.
When do you say Budweiser? Bud's the beer for any time at all.
That's right, after the work is done, while you're still having fun, the king of beers is waiting for your call.
When you say Budweiser,
ooh, you've said it all.
Every time.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
The signboard in center field is saying we're number 1. The kids down in the field saying, who cares? We're 1,000 strong. It wouldn't have made any difference how many cops or attendants tried to keep them in. They poured over the fences. They poured onto the fields. They're doing snake dances, victory dances, ripping up the bases. There'll be no more baseball at Yankee Stadium this year. The Yankees are the world's champions. They won the 4th game 8-4. They did it with a decimated pitching staff. They did it with a superhuman effort by Reggie Jackson in this deciding game. Mike Torres was the pitching hero with 2 complete series wins. 155 pounds of Louisiana Cajun by the name of Ron Guidry came in and did what he had to. Don Gullett, with hope and faith and an injured left arm, surprisingly won the 1st game. And had we known it then, that was really it. When Gullett came out of nowhere with that injured duck arm and won his game, it was really all over. We didn't know it. Maybe it isn't true, but man, they're ripping up the patch now. We'll continue our wrap-up in just a moment.
If you're like most buyers of regular gasoline, you probably think unleaded gasolines just don't perform. Sure, unleaded gives you a nice, clean engine, but it just doesn't have the pep of your regular. Or for that matter, the low price. Well, you regular buyers are in for a little surprise. Getty Unleaded Regular. Getty's unleaded gasoline has a high enough octane to be classified as regular. Most unleadeds don't. Yet Getty Unleaded Regular actually sells for less per gallon than most other major unleadeds. So if you want the octane performance of regular, plus the clean running smoothness of unleaded, and you want to pay less, you want Getty Unleaded Regular. Getty. Once again, we've got what's best for your car.
What's to tell you? The crowd down there looks like that forest in The Wizard of Oz. Jumping around, strange, wonderful, impossible. It's Reggie Jackson's 3 home runs. Mike Torres' brilliant 8-hit pitching that has given the New York Yankees the 1977 World Series. That was it, 8-4. We'll return with our post-game activities in a minute. This is Win Elliot for Ross Porter, CBS Radio Sports.
WCBS, New York.
Someday you'll own. Someday you'll own. Sooner or later you'll own Generals.
Don't pay extra for long mileage tires until you see the experts at your nearest General Tire headquarters. They've got the famous General Dual Steel 2 radial, the same tire that you'll see on many of Detroit's finest cars at a price that's right for today's budget. You get 2 steel belts, radial ply construction, and smooth riding polyester cord. Stop in today. Check your yellow pages for the General Tire headquarters nearest you.
Sooner or later you'll own Generals. Sooner or later you'll own Generals.
From our vantage point here in the Yankee clubhouse at Yankee Stadium in New York, this is Ralph Kiner, and in the Yankee clubhouse we have bedlam just taking place here. Champagne is being poured all over. The opening round was spilled all over Bill White, the Yankee announcer, as he was talking to the commissioner of baseball. Also, quick toast to manager Billy Martin. Billy Martin said he'd be here in just a second, but we have maybe 100, 200 people in the clubhouse, and it's hard to get anybody to move around. But the Yankees coming into the clubhouse, coming in somewhat quietly at the beginning. They came in, the young boys came in first, running in and congratulating each other. And then finally it was Billy Martin coming in and receiving the congratulations of Bill White. And then right after that, Reggie Jackson coming in, and Reggie going over to his locker in the clubhouse, very quietly taking off his glasses. No one at first noticing that he had arrived in the clubhouse. And then after getting the glasses off, he sort of sat in his area there, and I'm sure was more or less contemplating the tremendous emotion that must have come out as he hit the 3 home runs that really put the Yankees over the top. So we're waiting now as we try to come up with someone that we can talk to as this crowd keeps milling around, keeps milling about us. And right now our post-game show will continue in a moment.
Take your contact, take it now. Give your call to contact.
Can your cold medicine fight the congestion, shrink the swollen membranes, help relieve the runny, sneezy, cloggy misery caused by every known cold virus? Are you sure? Contact can. Today's Contact does all that up to 12 hours, all day, all night, no matter what cold virus attacks. That's the wonder of Contact.
Give your call to contact.
Take only as directed.
Back in 1973, Reggie Jackson was the hero of the last ball game, the 7th game of the World Series against the New York Mets. And Reggie, you've done it again.
Well, thanks a lot, Ralph. It's a great feeling. I'm just glad that there are a lot of people that shared it along with me.
You know, I watched you come into the clubhouse, and you came in rather quietly, took your glasses off, and what was going through your mind at that point must have been tremendously emotional.
I was beat. I was a little afraid of getting off the field. Fans were out there, and it was a struggle, and I would wear glasses, and I get to the point where I lose my depth perception, you know, and I was kind of frightened because I don't know where I'm stepping or anything, you know. But I just want to get inside and get my breath because I was really tired.
And then you got the champagne all over you.
Well, that's always like, you know, the taste of victory, and it symbolizes victory and championship, and it's just nice.
You know, Reggie, 3 home runs in the final game is a feat that Babe Ruth once did, and I'm sure that you'll be thinking about that. It's a fantastic accomplishment.
Well, Ralph, I don't know. You guys throw the word superstar around a lot, and you know, guys like Mays and Aaron and Ruth and DiMaggio and Mantle, and at least for one day, I can say I had a day of one.
You've been saying that New York is not quite your town. It might be now.
Well, we'll see. I can't do much more, and neither can the team, and neither can the town. They were very supportive. I'm glad we won for the fans, and I'm glad we won for just a lot of people here. I think it's good for the town, and I'm sure it'll be a happy winner for people in New York. They need it.
And certainly good for Reggie Jackson.
Well, it's great for me, but I really don't count. I'll have a good time, and you know, I'll relish in the things that will happen to me. But I can say I know there's a God out there, and everybody will be happy, and that's what's important.
What do you got planned for tonight?
Well, go to a little place over on 76th Street, Jimmy McMullen's, to have a couple of beers and share good times with some friends. My father's here, and he's real happy, so I'm excited.
Thank you very much, Reggie Jackson. A great series.
Thanks, Ralph. Thanks very much.
Reggie Jackson, of course, Reggie with a fantastic series, having 3 home runs in the final game. Now, more details after this message.
Recently, a survey was taken of the prices of premium gasoline. The survey covered hundreds of service stations in the northeastern United States. Virtually every major oil company was included. Right now, I'd like to tell you the results of that survey. In Portland, Maine, Getty Premium sold for less per gallon. In Boston, Getty Premium sold for less. In northern New Jersey, Philadelphia, and New York, Getty Premium sold for less. In fact, in every state surveyed, Getty Premium sold for less per gallon than most major premiums. More premium gas for your money. That has to be the best mileage ingredient you can buy. So the next time you pull in for gas, pull in for Getty Premium gasoline. Getty. Once again, we've got what's best for your car.
Right now, here in the clubhouse, we have the Commissioner of Baseball, Bowie Kuhn. And Bowie, this was one great day for you, and of course, a great year for baseball.
Well, I think it's a fine culmination to what has been an outstanding year, Ralph. I think this has been an exciting series. I don't know when we've seen such a home run barrage in the series, and Reggie, of course, was super spectacular today, as was Mike Torres. So it's been a great win for the Yankees, and we're all proud of in baseball.
Well, it took place in this big city here, and I think the fans riding the ups and downs of the Yankees throughout this whole season finally realized that it's over, and it really ended with a bang.
Well, you know, it's been a roller coaster for the Yankees this year. They've been a very dramatic team with a lot of contention on it, but they've been an exciting team, and I think they showed today that they're real champions.
All right, Bowie Kuhn, the Commissioner of Baseball, thank you very much, Bowie.
Okay, Ralph, nice to be with you.
So here in the Yankee clubhouse, we still have this tremendous crowd milling around. It's hard to get to anybody. It's almost impossible, as a matter of fact. And the big story, the home runs by Reggie Jackson, the fine pitching by Mike Torres. Mike, the winning pitcher in 2 of the ball games for the Yankees, as they won the series 4-2. The first game going to the to the Yankees by a score of 4-3 in 12 innings. In that ball game, the winning pitcher was Sparky Lyle. The second game going to the Dodgers 6-1 as Bert Hooten pitched the winning victory of that ball game. And then the Yankees going to Dodger Stadium, winning out there. They defeated the Dodgers by a score of 5-3, 4-2, and then L.A. coming back to move it back to New York City as the Dodgers won the 5th game by a score of 10-4. And the 6th game going to the Dodgers by a score of 8-4. More after this word.
New Mellow Roast is here.
This can't be coffee cause it tastes so smooth. They took the bitter taste out.
This can't be coffee cause it tastes so smooth. How'd they take the bitter taste out?
New Mellow Roast starts with 3 kinds of rich, robust coffees, then blends in roasted grain to take away the bitter edge, so you enjoy a delicious, full-flavored coffee taste. Mellow Roast coffee and grain beverage, new from General Foods.
They took the bitter taste out.
I'm talking with the president of the National League, Chub Feeney. And Chub, I know that you went down to a tough defeat here tonight as the Yankees really prevailed with their home run hitting in the final game.
Well, we're really very disappointed. The Dodgers are a super ball club, and I think they played us very well. It's just one of those things. Too much power, too much Reggie Jackson tonight. Wish we had another day at him tomorrow.
Well, it's all over, Chub, and I'm sorry you'll have to wait till next year, as they say in Brooklyn.
That's right. It's a long time, but we'll make it in 78.
Okay, Chub Finney, the president of the National League, and right here we have the winning manager. We have Billy Martin, and Billy, congratulations.
Thank you, Ralph. It was quite a season.
I noticed you came into the clubhouse kind of quietly. The emotion of it all sort of getting to you?
Yeah, it caught up to me finally.
How about in that last inning? Do you have any doubts about the fact that Mike Torres would finish the ball game?
Well, he was throwing hard, and I had Sparky ready for about 4 innings, so I wasn't worried if I had to go to Sparky.
I know one thing you did well. You gave that home run sign enough times.
Oh, yeah. Well, I wish I could take the credit for that, Ralph, but our guys are they're battlers, and they've probably been reading in the paper where they haven't been hitting any home runs, and then maybe they decide to bust loose. But I could see them coming around the last 3 or 4 days. I can see the left-hander's bat starting to come around.
Billy Martin, the winning manager. Billy, thank you very much. Well, there it is. The Yankees have defeated the Dodgers to win the 1977 World Series in 6 games. Once again, tonight's score, the New York Yankees 8 and the Los Angeles Dodgers 4. This broadcast has been sponsored by Ford Motor Credit Company, the people who want to give you credit for being you. By Pepto-Bismol, it coats, soothes, and relieves. By Mobil One, the synthetic motor oil that does it all. And by the Brewers of Budweiser, King of Beers. Now for Win Elliot and Ross Porter, our statistician John Gallagher, our engineers Joe DeBona and Steve Kirsch, our producer Dave Kerman, and our executive producer Frank Miller, this is Ralph Kiner saying so long from Yankee Stadium on the CBS Radio Network.
This is WCBS in New York. It's 1 minute before 11 o'clock. As you just heard, the Yankees won the World Series with an 8-4 victory tonight over the Dodgers. In the NBA, the Pistons beat the Jersey Nets 110-93 tonight, and it was the Knicks over the Kansas City Kings 120-113. Islanders in Los Angeles ended up scoreless. Spencer Ross was covering the Knicks game for News 88. Ed Ingles and Art Athens covering the Yankees game up at the stadium. We'll be hearing from all of them later on in this night as New York celebrates. It's 55 degrees in Manhattan with humidity at 64%, a southwest wind at 10 miles per hour, barometer just under 30 inches and going up, a partly cloudy night. Breezy and cool with a chance of showers developing after midnight. Temperatures of 43 to 48. Overcast, damp and cool tomorrow with occasional rain, high in the middle 50s. And again in the city now, 55 degrees. I'm Robert Vaughn. Now stay tuned as CBS covers the world at 11.
CBS News, the New York Yankees win the World Series in 6 games, defeating the Los Angeles Dodgers tonight 8-4. I'm David Jackson reporting on the CBS Radio Network, and we have a report from Yankee Stadium and Win Elliot of CBS Sports.
Dave, the center field scoreboard and signboard says it. Yankees 1977 World's champions. The second complete game pitching win by Mike Torres. He struggled for a while, but he stayed in it, allowed only 4 runs and 8 hits. The Yankees, trailing 2-0 after an error, opened the gates for the Dodgers in the first inning. Chambliss a 2-run homer. Reggie Smith gave him back to lead the Dodgers with a singleton into the right field stands, and the rest of the way it was all Reggie Jackson. A 2-run homer in the 4th, a 2-run homer in the 5th, and a 1-run homer in the 8th. It was one of the superior performances in all World Series history, and the guys who were supposed to do it did it the hard way. The pinstripe champions of all baseball, the New York Yankees. Win Elliot for CBS News from Yankee Stadium.
Reggie Jackson's 3 home runs in 1 World Series game equals a record held only by Babe Ruth. So for the Yankees tonight, a lot of champagne and celebrating. For the Dodgers, as it was so many times when they were in Brooklyn, it's wait till next year. More news in a minute.
This winter, there's spectacular pro and college postseason football play for you on the CBS Radio Network. I'm Brent Musburger, CBS Radio Sports. In college ball, we kick off the holiday season with the Fiesta Bowl from Tempe, Arizona on Christmas Day. And then Saturday, December 31st, it's the Sun Bowl, a New Year's Eve day game from El Paso, Texas. On New Year's Day, we turn to the pros, the NFC Championship, which will decide who takes on the AFC in the Super Bowl. Monday, January 2nd, we'll take you to Dallas to find out who will come out on top in the Cotton Bowl College Classic. Moving to the weekend of January 14th and 15th, you'll hear about Super Bowls past from Win Elliot on his spectacular Super Bowl weekend special. 17 broadcasts recalling exciting moments from football's greatest event of the year. Then we wrap it up with all the play-by-play action of the Super Bowl itself on Sunday, January 15th. It may sound like there's a lot, but that's just what we mean. The best in postseason college and pro football is yours this winter from CBS Radio Sports over most of the CBS Radio Network stations.
Terrorist bombs exploded overnight in northern Italy, violent footnotes to the end of a hijacking. Blasts wrecked 3 showrooms for German-made cars in Turin and Leghorn, Italy. No injuries are reported. Anonymous callers said bombs were planted in memory of 3 anarchists who reportedly committed suicide in jail. Those deaths came after West German commandos stormed a Lufthansa airliner in Somalia, freed 86 hostages, and killed 3 of the 4 hijackers yesterday. Freedom for the jailed anarchists had been one of the hijackers' demands. The end of the hijacking also prompted violent demonstrations by leftists in Rome and Athens. But in Frankfurt, the commandos returned to a hero's welcome and praise from many world leaders. At the UN today, Secretary General Kurt Waldheim said there's a move for immediate consideration of the issues of terrorism and hostage-taking. This under threat of a 2-day strike by many of the world's airline pilots if no UN action is taken. House Senate conferees began work today on an energy bill, saying they were in a compromising mood. The mood apparently didn't last long. After 4 hours of debate, they got stuck on the first issue discussed, whether utility companies should be allowed to finance and install home insulation. The House says no, the Senate says yes. After a meeting with President Carter today, Senator Abraham Ribicoff said the conferees would work closely with the White House. Energy, he says, is a very important issue.
We're talking about taxes that will raise between now and 1985 in the neighborhood of $50 billion. But with a nation that needs $1 trillion in the next 10 years to develop alternate sources of energy, there's a lot of money that's needed. And we have to make sure that we husband our scarce tax dollars for developing alternate sources of energy.
Senate and House conferees resume work on the energy bills tomorrow afternoon. More news in a minute.
Say, this is Bob Hope. I've spent a happy lifetime on radio and television, and I'd like to put in a good word for the hobby that made broadcasting possible. You see, about 60 years ago, some early radio experimenters developed our first stations. Today, there are nearly 1 million amateur radio operators around the world talking to each other, standing ready to provide us with emergency communication in time of disaster, and still developing new electronic techniques. They have their own amateur television stations and even satellites circling the globe. On some of our trips to isolated spots overseas, my troop and I kept in touch with home through amateur radio stations. You want to know how you can join in? Now that many people are discovering the fun of talking by personal radio, maybe you'd like the really exciting and wonderful world of amateur radio. It takes study, but it's worth it. For free information, write to the American Radio Relay League, Newington, Connecticut, 06111. Like they say, tune in the world with amateur radio.
A warning today from Vice President Mondale to South Africa. In a Johannesburg newspaper interview, Mondale says it will be increasingly difficult for the United States to maintain good relations with the white South African government unless political changes take place in Johannesburg. It is crucial, he says, for the South African government to open a dialogue with non-white leaders. I'm David Jackson, CBS News.
Robert Vaughn on News 88, where you heard the Yankees win it all tonight at 6 minutes after 11 o'clock, WCBS News time. More on that Yankees game. Reggie Jackson's 3 homers. Cloudy, breezy, and cool. A chance of showers developing after midnight. Temperatures of 43 to 48 with southerly winds at 8 to 16 miles per hour. Overcast, damp, and cool tomorrow with occasional rain and a high in the middle 50s. Southeast winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Thursday, clearing, breezy and cool, high 55 to 60 degrees. Looking just a little further ahead from Dr. Bob Harris in our Weather Center. On Friday, increasingly cloudy, shower, and that should come sometimes late in the day. A high in the upper 50s on Friday. Again, it's 54 degrees now in New York. Mostly cloudy at the moment with 64% humidity. As you doubtless heard a little bit earlier, with 3 home runs by Reggie Jackson, a 2-run homer by Chris Chambliss tonight, the New York Yankees beat the Dodgers 8-4 up at Yankee Stadium, and they won the World Series in game number 6. Reggie Jackson, the most valuable player, a car he won tonight, saying he's going to give it to his kid sister. We have WCBS reporter Art Athens with the fans.
And there it is, the final out of the game. Something Yankee fans have waited for 15 years, and despite warnings to stay off the field is mobbed. Reggie Jackson, like a shot, fought his way in from right field, pushes a few spectators out of the way and makes it to the dugout. And there goes the pitcher's mound, swarmed, and it looks like a lot of fans trying to figure out how to get the rubber up the bases. It disappeared right away. And police, New York City police, are out on the field. Nightclubs are swinging at a few, and they've got a guy down, and it looks like out cold over at third base where he might have been trying to steal the bag. Thousands of fans pouring out on the field, some of them carrying signs, despite the fact that at almost every inch of the gates around Yankee Stadium leading from the stands into the field, there are police, mounted police, now hit the field, coming out through the right field gate, and they're knocking down some fans. They're using billy clubs. They're not fooling around. There go a few more firecrackers out in right field, and the field is mobbed. Somebody's rolled up the on-deck batter's circle and is trying to figure out a way to get out of here with it. I don't know whether he'll make it very far. He's trying to walk back in the stands, and he just got pinched. They're jubilant. They're jubilant. He doesn't want to give it up. He's got that on-deck circle, and he won't give it up. A few nightstick swings. Some bases disappear. And all in all, after 15 years, I guess a lot of these fans figure they're entitled to get out there and tear up Yankee Stadium. Most of the 56,000 fans are staying in their seats watching the spectacle out on the field. The police have promised to make arrests, and I'm sure they'll make a few. I see about a half a dozen people down on the ground. They've been hit with nightsticks, and they're being pulled off the field. A lot of them are still walking around, victory signs, number one signs, paying little or no attention to the police. And it doesn't look like there's too much they can do as the scoreboard flashes Yankees 1977 World Champs. At Yankee Stadium, this is Art Apple.
And we have a lot more sports coming up. Of course, in addition to Art up at the stadium, we had our sports director, Ed Ingles, there, while our Spencer Ross was at Madison Square Garden for the Knicks opener. The Knicks beat the Kansas City Kings tonight to get underway well. The Nets lost, the Islanders in Los Angeles scoreless. We'll be getting Jim Kelly with all the rest of the sports news coming up shortly on WCBS. It's 10 after 11. New York Telephone will begin charging higher rates next week under the terms of a temporary rate hike plan approved recently by the Public Service Commission. Bob Van Zandt is a phone company spokesman.
We're complying with the State Public Service Commission to implement their temporary rate award of $245 million, which they so stated on October the 13th. And we are complying with that by filing these charges that will be in effect for approximately 6 weeks.
The higher rates will be in effect until the PSC rules on a proposal to further increase rates. That decision is due by the end of November. The higher rates taking effect next week will boost monthly charges for a residential customer by an average of 21%. The Concorde SST arrives tomorrow in New York City. Tom Fody has the story.
After all the demonstrations and court fights, there's no more question here that the British are coming, and so are the French in their supersonic transport. British Airways spokesman Norman Lorney.
We are expecting the first Concorde to land at New York tomorrow about 11 o'clock in the morning.
The first Concorde test takeoff from Kennedy will come the following day. For now, opponents say there will be no protest, but the near future, Brian Levinson of Concorde Alert says that will be different.
If we have to demonstrate at Kennedy Airport, that'll be before any commercial landings of Concorde. We're going to turn Kennedy Airport into New Orleans on Mardi Gras Day. That's what it's going to look like, because we're going to have those cars like floats.
But now it will be the Concorde and not the protest cars that will be the focus of attention at JFK. Tom Fody in New York.
It's 11 after 11 o'clock. Because of that exciting ball game, the Yanks won tonight. We're behind on our racing. We will be getting the wrap-up of everything that happened in Yonkers about 30 minutes from right now, so stay tuned with us. A little later in the night as well, we'll have the Meadowlands wrap-up. What do today's senior citizens want most out of life? Well, according to the director of Sharon Manor in Brooklyn, it's the opportunity to age with grace and dignity, feeling loved and respected. And that's why Sharon Manor is that special private adult residence for you or your parents, a place you'll be proud of. Sharon Manor is a total environment for active, alert adults, a beautiful residence in one of Brooklyn's loveliest communities where your comfort and pleasure come first. You'll maintain your sense of independence in a spacious, luxurious room, enjoy stimulating companionship, gourmet meals, interesting activities, including nightly professional entertainment and warm personal service, and be centrally located at Foster Avenue and Ocean Parkway, so that it's easy to stay in touch with your family and friends. What's more, not only is Charome Manor surprisingly affordable, they are ready, willing, and able to help you work out terms to your advantage. So come visit Charome Manor in Brooklyn or call 212-859-2400. That's 212-859-2400. 13 after 11, we'll be getting on to sports momentarily. Why do photographers and camera fans return to 47th Street Photo for all their equipment? Well, they know that at 47th Street Photo at 67 West 47th Street between 5th and 6th Avenues, they'll find one of New York's largest selections of photographic equipment for the professional as well as amateur. From the most hard-to-find accessories to the most sophisticated camera and lens, all at consistently low prices without ever compromising individualized customer attention. And this week, 47th Street Photo is having one of the greatest sales ever on the complete line of Olympus cameras and lenses, including the top-rated OM2, the automatic exposure control Olympus that has the world's most advanced automatic metering system. 47th Street Photo at 67 West 47th Street, Midtown Manhattan, also carries a wide range of name-brand calculators, car stereos, TVs, watches, radar detectors, telephone answering and dictating machines, all at low discount prices. So visit 47th Street Photo at 67 West 47th Street, the upstairs store with the downstairs prices this week. Open Monday through Thursday, 9 to 6, Fridays till 2, and Sunday 10 to 4. 47th Street Photo, it's more than just a camera store. 14 minutes after 11, WCBS Sports Time.
I'm Jim Kelly. It's sports time. More precisely, World Series time. I won't hit a home run. Everybody else did, though. Game 6, the Dodgers had to win. They took a quick 2-0 lead in the first inning after 2 men were out. An error, a passed ball, a walk, and then a Steve Garvey triple. The Yankees went down 1-2-3 in their half of the first inning. Los Angeles the same in the top of the second. But in the Yankee half of inning number 2, Reggie Jackson walks on 4 straight pitches, and then Bert Hooton delivers.
2-1 pitch to Chambliss. A drive to right center field and deep. Way back, going. A home run for Chris Chambliss, and we're tied 2-2.
But not for long, as Ross Porter called it here on CBS Radio. Reggie Smith steps up in the Los Angeles half of the third.
The 1-1 pitch to Smith. There's a drive to center field and deep. Rivers turns. That one's going to be gone again into the right center field pavilion, and the Dodgers regain the lead 3-2 on Reggie Smith's third home run of the World Series.
But Los Angeles' 3-2 lead was short-lived as Thurman Munson singled and Reggie Jackson dug in.
There's a drive to right field and deep. Smith going back, away back. It's gone. A home run, Reggie Jackson.
4-3 Yankees. They had another run as Chris Chambliss had a soft fly ball drop in between Dusty Baker and Bill Russell in short left field. That went for a double, and he moved over to third base. Lou Piniella then drove him home with a sacrifice fly for a 5-3 Yankee lead. And that's the way it was until the New York fifth inning when Reggie Jackson is up once again.
The pitch. Drive to right field and deep. Way back, going, gone. Another home run for Reggie Jackson. And the Yankees lead 7-3.
Amazing, and the crowd thought so too. They wouldn't stop chanting, Reggie, Reggie, until he came out of the dugout once again and doffed his cap. That reaction, though, was small by comparison when Reggie Jackson came up yet again in the New York 8th.
Jackson with 4 runs batted in and sends a fly ball to center field and deep. That's going to be way back, and that's going to be gone. Reggie Jackson is in his third home run of the game.
And that ties a World Series record set by Babe Ruth, and Reggie did it up in the house that Babe Ruth built, Yankee Stadium. The Dodgers added 1 more in the ninth, and they threatened briefly, but it was too little too late. Reggie Jackson supplying the offense in Game 6, and Mike Torres going the route. Ironically, he's the one that made the final Dodger putout.
Torres, who's pitched the 9-hitter, stretches, deals. Bunt, popped up. Torres has got it, and the Yankees are the world champions for the 21st time, and for the first time in 15 years.
The Yankee right-hander stopping the Dodgers on 9 hits. He beat them for the second time in just 4 days. Both were complete games. He gave up 2 unearned first-inning runs, that 425-foot home run to Reggie Smith, his third of the series, and then he only gave up 4 hits and 1 run over the last 5 innings. This was Torres after the game.
Man, this is it. We're number 1 this year anyway. We wanted this so.
And, of course, the Yankee victory perhaps inspired by the vote of confidence given to manager Billy Martin earlier in the day. Club president Gabe Paul ending speculation that Billy Martin would be fired by saying he would be retained for the final 2 years of his contract with a substantial bonus. Forget the bonus. Nothing is sweeter than a win in the World Series. And ironic in a way that when the money was on the line, the series' most valuable player would turn out to be none other than Reggie Jackson, who was at the center of controversy all season long. First it was Jackson against Thurman Munson, then Reggie Jackson against Billy Martin, the manager. Don't forget that blow-up on national television against the Boston Red Sox when the two almost came to blows. This is what Reggie had to say after Game 6, after the Yankees had won the World Series against the Dodgers, 8-4 the final in Game 6, 4-2 in games. Reggie?
Well, it's great for me, but I really don't count. I'll have a good time, and you know, I'll relish in the things that will happen to me. But I can say I know there's a God out there, and everybody will be happy, and that's what's important.
So, the New York Yankees, champions of the world, they take the Dodgers 8-4 the final, 4-2 in games. That's sports time. That's World Series time. We're out of time. I'm Jim Kelly and friends on the CBS World Series Radio Network.
Robert Vaughn on News Radio 88.